Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 373. Got a good one tonight. A lot of showcases happened. A lot of things got announced. You know, some DLC come out. So this, just up front, we'll mention next week we won't have a Spawncast stream because like half of us will be at too many games. Actually, maybe more than half of us. I think even Sean's going. Oh, actually, we should clear that up now. I'm sure this is gonna be a question going into the week. Hotly anticipated arrival of someone who has not been to the show in, my gosh, it's been like 6 or 7 years, Sean.
Like 6.
2018, right?
2019, one of those years.
Yeah, so it's been a while since Sean's been there. So he's apparently going to be there this year. They've advertised him. He's got plans set up to be there. So it's going to be an exciting weekend, and we do have a panel, so you can come out and see Sean and heckle him while he's up on the stage. That's Friday.
You're talking as afternoon. If he still might not show up.
Dude, Nate is still convinced that Sean is not going to make it there. I told him we would take a picture of Sean there to prove that he showed up. Nate is convinced that something will happen last minute and Sean will just like fall asleep or something.
I did get sunburn on my shoulders yesterday. It turned into sun poisoning. You never know.
Great poisoning is like the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, no, raisin poisoning. Sorry, raisin poisoning.
Yeah, it was raisins.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I think he'll be there. So the person who's been trying to get you to sign their Balan Wonder or Wonder World copies forever, he'll be there. Let me go over here. We have Josie Woe with us tonight.
Hi. Yep, happy to be here.
Good to have you here. You weren't able to give some of your takes on the Nintendo Direct stuff during the Game & Talk that was actually aired a little earlier this time.
Yeah, we switched around Game & Talk to this week because, yeah, you guys should go watch that. But, yeah, I wasn't able to be on because I had work, but excited to talk about it. That was like a banger Direct, so happy to get into it.
Got Ryan here. Ryan will also be at Too Many Games. So Josie will be there. Ryan will be there. Evan will be there. I'll be there. Sean will be there. Yes. Good to have Ryan here. How we doing?
Scott. Happy to be here.
All right. We have Evan. Evan's here too.
Yep.
And holding up the pre-show, OJ's here with us tonight.
Yep. Here. Good to be here. Great pre-show, by the way, as well. It was a lot of fun talking about various different stuff. So excited.
All right, well, like I said, tonight we do have the Nintendo Direct that happened. I did point out some that I found were kind of interesting, but I'm curious what people's takes are on all these different titles that were announced. We did have the limited run game showcase that happened, as well as there was a mention of, shockingly enough, Beyond Good and Evil 2, which makes me wonder if it's not dead necessarily. We'll see. Then we had the Elden Ring DLC drop, and MVG, who's like the big Elden Ring guy, isn't here, and he actually got the collector's edition. Like, he bought it physically and everything. And I wanted to see what he thought of it, but unfortunately he's not here with us tonight. So we'll catch up with him whenever he does stop by. But I do also want to go over to the Spawncast Network and recognize some of the producers over there with John O, Joshua Butts, Mr. Joby, Justin Maverick, the Game Orb, Trent A, and then I want to point out a star supporter with Adam Sarp. So shout out to the members over on the Spawncast Network. You can check that out. That is linked down below. Support the shows. Thanks to all the people over there, of course. And I think there's also, I feel like you guys at Game & Talk are doing like a giveaway coming up soon too. Am I wrong?
Oh, yeah. We hit 50 members for the Game & Talk YouTube channel. So we do a little monthly game giveaway now. And if we get to 100, we're going to do like an extra live stream. It should be fun. And we'll just like play games and stuff. So just more like community driven stuff when we reach the member milestones. So yeah, it's great. I'm glad it's going as well as it is.
Okay, good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Thank
I
you
got
guys.
everything there then. And we'll start with the Elden Ring DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree. I don't know if anyone else here had a chance to play it. Evan, you were a big Elden Ring person when it dropped. I don't know if you got a chance to check out that DLC.
I've mostly been watching it just because I know if I pick it up, I'm going to dump like maybe another 100 hours into that game, and I do not know if I have the time right now.
Apparently, the DLC is quite lengthy. Some have said it's 40 to 50 hours. I think it's more than that. So I just based on what like the reviews have said, I've put a whole 2 hours into it so far since
I've
it
just
came
been
out.
watching just because I'm not big on Elden Ring, but I like watching people play from soft games. So yeah, I've been watching, and it seems like it's freaking crazy. It's like way harder than like the base game. People are talking about how hard the game is. You know, it's already a hard game, and now it's even like
I
worse.
feel under leveled, and I'm like level 140 or something like that. I went to this. I'm looking around, and when I get hit by some basic enemies, they take large chunks of my health off, more than like when I was just doing some of the stuff in like the base game. And there are some enemies that are just like almost one hitting me. Some of the larger, they have like like mini bosses kind of that you run into. I haven't gotten to any like the big like main bosses yet, because once you walk out into the DLC, they do that thing where you go through like a cave cavern system, and then it opens up into this massive area, and they have like the tree off in the distance, it kind of glowing a bit, just to kind of hit you with the sense of scale. And they did a very good job with that. But that area is kind of where I was just got on the horse and just ran around that for a bit, trying to find different things. And you do, there are some hidden bits and pieces there. And after I did that, I went up, fought a few of the mini bosses, saved at one of the points, and that's kind of where I finished. So it was about 2 hours of mostly wandering, which I kind of feel like 80% of Elden Ring is mostly just wandering around finding things. So I'm off to a good start. But MVG told me he was level 230, so he's like well ahead of that, and I wanted to see how the game felt for him with that like that many stat points ahead of me. But I mean, it seems like so far more Elden Ring. I'm pretty happy with that, but I got a ways to go. That's why I thought, Evan, if you picked it up, you would have started like you'd have showed up here and been like, I got it yesterday. I'm 20 hours in.
No, yeah, but that's the problem. I got so much other stuff I got to do, and I know if I pick this up, that's it. Like, you won't hear from me for weeks.
There is some. I mean, I guess the base game kind of had this too. There is definitely some frame rate issues with this game right now. But even in the first couple of hours in this first area, I'm noticing it this is on the PS5. I'm playing it. And I noticed people are kind of mentioning that on PC as well. So I don't know if they've done something here just with the world, making it even larger, that's affected it. But it's definitely tanking more than I would have expected with this game. Like the frame rate, you can, because this is a game where you can kind of feel it when it drops down, because you're trying to dodge and attack.
How far are we talking?
It's more like the frame rate drop where when you swing the camera, it feels kind of juddery. So I'm like running around my horse, and I can feel it there, like as I'm swinging my camera around. I don't think it's to the point where it's like a slideshow. I haven't run into that, but it is something you notice. And apparently I remember on PC when the game first came out, it had these issues. So I don't know if they've kind of returned with the DLC or not.
I thought before when there was some performance issues, but I thought there was something with the anti-cheat and then certain seams in the world where you go between zones that it happens. Like that was the main thing for that.
Yeah, so Jeffrey mentions there's lots of pop into. You can see on the ground, like when you're running around, like foliage and stuff pops in like 20 feet from you or something. So you do see that as well. I don't know if they're just pushing their engine to the limits here with this game, but it's impressive when all of it is kind of out of the way, all those technical issues, and you just kind of look off and see all the stuff you can do. It's impressive. It is. And then the first thing it kills you. PS5.
Okay.
So you're playing.
I'm watching Kai Cenat play it, and it looks really good.
Yep. This is a game that, man, you have to have a lot of you have to be pretty brave to play these kind of games on stream. I will say that, like, because you're gonna die a lot. I mean, he died how many times to beat the game?
Yeah, he's already. I think he's at like 3 something already for this thing.
So, I mean, I guess that's also part of the fun. Like people watching. It's like this person
just get obliterated though. The comments are they're just telling him like 40 things to do, and I'm just like, how is he gonna do that?
I don't ever backseat people when I watch, but it's funny to see people get their butt kicked in these games. That's what makes it fun to watch for me. Is like, because like I don't know, I just don't like watching people that just obliterate everything, that just know how to do everything. I'd rather see somebody overcome, because that's like what the games are about, right? So
if you like that, I was watching Moon try to beat the first part of it without leveling up. So.
Oh God! I need to check that. I didn't see that.
The last I watched, he was at death number 478 against the first boss you run into.
Okay, now
like
that's
when you
just
walk
ridiculous.
out the thing on the horse, or
no, because he got pretty far in the game without leveling normally.
Okay.
But in the DLC, I think he was at the Divine Beast character, like he was at that one, and he was at 470 something deaths, and he got it almost dead, like in one of the first tries he had on it. It was great.
They do give you in Elden Ring in general. They do give you a lot of like basically those points of grace or whatever. So you do have at least a spot you can respawn at, and it's not too far away to get to where you died most times, provided you actually activate them. If you don't, then you're kind of in trouble. So that's sometimes what I've done is I've just run past a bunch of really tough enemies and just got the point of grace or whatever, and then if I die, I just come right back to it. So
I think Elden Ring is a game that I'm gonna watch and really like watching the playthroughs of, but I'm just not gonna play. I just don't know if I can.
That's perfectly valid. That is me. I used to play Demon, like when these series first started with Demon Souls. I bought it day one back then. It was like only I think it was like a $50 game. It was like $50 or $40 back then. It was the first one that they did, and I played it and I loved it. Played Dark Souls, loved it. Then at some point I just got like I don't know if I want to play these type of games anymore. I think I was like at Bloodborne, even though Bloodborne's really good. Played it, but I'm like I'm kind of good, with these. And now I just watch them, and it's so fun to watch. So you don't have to be all into the games. You can still watch and enjoy it, and still get fun like with the releases. Because I watch people play Dark Souls 3, watch people play all the Sekiro, all these games. They're all super cool. So I always love when the games come out from FromSoft.
Yeah, plus it kind of still feels like you play it in a way because you like get all the story, you get all the
you live vicariously through.
Yeah.
If you have a good streamer, like Kai's a good streamer, it's so much more fun, right? If you can find a streamer that you identify with or that you like. So that's what I do, and I feel like I've played all the games, even though all the new ones, even though I don't play anymore.
I know. I feel like I played all of Elden Ring and I have not touched that game.
I've played Elden Ring for about 20, 30 hours or so, but I feel like I've beaten the game because I've seen people play the game so much. Same thing with Sekiro. I played Sekiro for like 5 hours. I feel like I watched Max play the game and all this stuff. So you kind of get the whole experience there. I mean, still you need to play it obviously, but watching it is fine. It's cool. You don't have to play the games. You can still just enjoy it for what they are. That's what I like about them.
I think if there's one you want to try for like low risk, since you have do you have Game Pass, Josie?
I do.
If there's one you want to try just for low risk that's not super into just killing you over and over and over again, but still kind of has a little bit of that Souls like is Lies of P. That's actually a pretty good one.
That one's very good.
Yeah, it's in Game Pass, and it's not. I mean, it's not.
That game will kick your ass too.
I watched my friend beat it.
Dark Souls and stuff is definitely more punishing than that. So
yeah.
Also, Another Crab's Treasure.
Cool.
Another Crab's Treasure.
Oh, Another Crab's Treasure. That's another good one. Yeah. That one has kind of that Souls flair to it.
Yeah.
I would have said Demon Souls is pretty. I'm not going to say easy, but probably the most approachable.
Yeah, Demon Souls was good too. That was good.
Yeah, it was good. I didn't play the remake, but I played the original.
I got the remake on the PS5 when it came out and played it there, and it's Blue Point did a good job with it. It's a good game.
That original was rough, man, but we just said it was part of the difficulty back then.
I'd argue that Donkey Kong Country 2 is the Dark Souls of the Donkey Kong.
But you're about to beat that, or you did?
I did beat it.
Then what are you doing?
I did.
Go get Elden Ring. You're
never
fine.
Again. No.
Jump right in the deep end.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're fine.
I think platforming difficulty it's a bit different from like Elden Ring difficulty or like from soft difficulty.
I don't know.
I think
you're still dying over and over and over again.
Yes, and I understand that, but platforming, it's just I don't know. I can play hard platformers like Donkey Kong and be like, oh yeah, I'm good. But some of like the Elden Ring stuff and all, I'm just like.
Have you played Donkey Kong Country 2?
Yeah,
in the last 20 years.
Yeah,
the last 20 years.
I'm trying to
play 10 years. Yeah, I played it.
Big caveat.
I think I played it like 7 or 8 years ago. I played it.
Okay.
But I beat the game.
Did you beat the whole thing?
Yes, I beat the game a million times. I beat the game when I was younger, though.
Okay, I'm just saying when you're playing it for the first time, learning how to do it, it's really brutal, and it's a lot of repetition, which I've realized is similar to a lot of the FromSoft games where you're learning the enemy's movements.
Yeah,
so it's like learning and remembering all these things, and
absolutely
trying not to cry on the stream when everyone's attacking you because you don't fucking know what's coming next, and it was crazy.
No, listen, I didn't have to play the game. I died like crazy back in the day. And I didn't have to play it in front of an audience, or I wasn't playing it in front of an audience, making fun of me whenever I got my ass kicked too when I was younger and I played the game. But eventually, like I didn't have a lot of games. You just learn it, and it just becomes just a natural thing. But they advertised the game, even back then, they advertised it as a tough game. It was advertised that way, even the original Donkey Kong was.
You heard it, chat.
So
don't be yelling at me when I take
and
20
even
hours.
when Tropical Freeze came out, they're like, this game's really hard. That was part of the advertising. That's just how DKC's always been,
Yeah, no, I know, but there is a difference between DKC 2 difficulty and Tropical Freeze. I think for me, like Tropical Freeze is a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, the controls are a lot better too. Like,
Yeah.
the controls and like the jumping.
And
the
you
physics,
save after every level, which
Yeah,
helps a lot.
It's easier. Agreed.
Let's move over to the Nintendo Direct. Sean, let me ask you on Game & Talk. Did you guys go like line by line, or just talk about some of the highlights that you guys liked?
Did you not watch it?
I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing. No.
It's kind of well. I mean, if you would have watched any of it, you would have known the answer was yes. I had my notes still, so we went game by game.
Okay, that'll work. So I picked out some highlights, but I know Josie may have some different ones in here that she liked as well. But we can go through the Direct here. Obviously I picked a few games out, 2 of them, and just put them in the title as well.
I hope you have Hello Kitty in there because that's my favorite game, right?
I do. I have it right here. I
Apparently,
highlighted and
that's
underlined
actually
it.
a really good game.
Okay, well there you go.
No, the amount of people. I'm not saying that I think, but I've been seeing a lot of tweets from like people in the cozy game community, and they say that it's really, really good.
Oh, you
the
hear that,
co-
Sean?
oh,
The cozy game.
Wait, what did you just say?
community.
Hold on. What did you say?
You don't know about the cozy game community?
We gotta blur the line, you guys. We gotta not gamergate it.
Sean.
I'm probably blocked by all of them.
There's a cozy gamer
There-
community.
there
That
is.
sounds like Sean's kind of scene. Okay.
Well, there totally is. It's like a lot of Animal Crossing creators and stuff,
Yeah.
and they gotta move from Animal Crossing because it's kind of dead now, and some of them moved to Hello Kitty.
Oh, okay.
They also play
Every
like
so
farming
often
games.
they put down Stardew Valley.
Yeah, it's Stardew
Move on to
Valley.
something else.
They
Is
play
this-
farming games a lot too, like
Mhm.
cozy farming games and things like that.
Is this a new Hello Kitty game, or is this one that was
It was
existed
stuck on
somewhere else?
Apple Arcade, right? Was that game?
Oh, is that okay? That might be the one. Okay, in that case, I looked at it on Apple Arcade and did not play it. I just
I
moved
Missed
think-
out, man.
I think that's the one that was stuck somewhere, and then it's
Yeah.
eventually like coming, or maybe mobile.
Nate on the podcast Nate had before, and he knew what was coming because he talked about.
Oh yeah, didn't he
Hello-
predict Hello Kitty?
He knew.
Predict.
Somebody told him what the games were. He knew what the games were, but he was trying his best to make it seem as if he didn't know all the games. This dude knew all the games. He thought, oh yeah, there's gonna be a Hello Kitty game there. Oh, by the way, Fantasian's gonna be there. I'm like, oh yeah, right.
Jason Schreier about to show up in his
predictions,
DMs. Man.
But yeah, he
That'd
said
be
the
weird.
Hello Kitty game was going to be there. And I'm thinking, I'm watching the podcast. I'm like, what? Hello? I didn't hear about any type of Hello Kitty game coming, but yeah, it showed up.
We have, let's see, we'll start at the top. Mario Luigi Brothership,
Ooh,
first new entry, 9 years, and Nintendo apparently has said, so Nintendo does this weird thing where they won't tell people who's developing a game until it comes out, basically. But they did say that some of the original developers, I guess from Alpha Dream, are working on it. So we know Alpha Dream went under, dissolved, and I guess either one company picked them up and Nintendo's partnering with them, or Nintendo
it's
hired a new studio. I'm not sure how that's
It
working.
seems like it could be the Ilka, them. That's the rumors right now. There's some people that are on it. It's them, and then but the people that left from Alpha Dream, they're kind of spread out. There's some that went to go work for Monolith Soft. I got a video coming about this tomorrow too, guys. And some went to Monolith Soft. Some just work at Nintendo. Some helped out with Intelligent Systems with Paper Mario. So they're kind of like scattered. So I'm not exactly sure, who's like the main, but it seems like they might have partnered with Ilka.
Interesting. Okay, Elka
and
did
they
the
could be
Pokemon Diamond. Brilliant.
Yeah,
Diamond.
they did Pokemon Diamond and Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. They did One Piece Odyssey, and they did Sandland. Those are the games that they've done so far. So it could be with them, and then of course Nintendo has their people that also work on stuff too. So
This looks a little ahead of what I would expect out of Ilka. So I'm curious what those credits say, because this, to me, I thought this game looked really good. Sean, you weren't sold on the art style though?
Nah, I didn't really like it. Like,
Okay.
it's not bad, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It just didn't appeal to me. But the game looks good from a gameplay perspective, even though according to Dragon, I suck at video games. So I guess that doesn't fucking matter.
wait, who's Dragon?
Dragon 23.
Oh, in the
On
chat.
Game and Talk,
Yeah,
you should
on
watch
the
Battle of the Sexes because it kind
Go
of
post
Oh.
that on. Go
It's
post it
actually
on. Start a new
kinda good.
topic on Reddit, Dragon, so I can send that to Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I will say this: when I saw they have like Mario, Luigi, whoever jumping up, kicking the shell with kind of that art style, it reminded me a little bit of Mario Strikers when they did that zoom in and like kind of the rough sketch art around them. So I thought that was pretty cool. But hey, Mario and Luigi, I'll take it. I feel like this is one of those things. Normally, this would have been when we had a console and a handheld with Nintendo. This would have been the handheld game.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
they're just bringing them all together now. So yeah,
This is the first ever Mario and Luigi game on anything that's been considered a console. It's been portable since the GBA and then DS. The art style, it reminds me. I went back and I was looking at some of the old ones because I've played a few. Played like Bowser's Inside Story. I've played Dream Team. I've played a few of them, and I think that was the right art style. I mean, to go with like it looks different enough from Super Mario RPG and like Paper Mario to where it's not like you don't have too much bleed over from those games because those are all RPGs too. So yeah.
It's crazy how many RPGs we're getting like back to back. Like I feel like they've ignored Mario RPGs for the last like 7 years pretty much on Switch. And now we're just getting all of them in the span of like a year, which is cool. Just shocking.
They're ignoring it for a while. I mean, after Alpha, I mean, in terms of console wise, yeah. On console, they didn't. I mean, obviously there was nothing like Super Mario RPG, right? That was the first one that we got. Yeah, they didn't even re-release like Super Mario RPG like the Super Nintendo one. That was on the Super Nintendo Classic. So there was like nothing for like a long time.
We had Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. Just got a new trailer for that. Just reminding us it's out next month. Fairy Tail 2. I don't know if okay. Fairy Tail 2.
Not a Fairy Tail person. I tried to watch the anime and I couldn't do it.
Actually, my brother is super into that anime.
No, it's good. I know it's good. People tell me like, oh, they tell me it's good. I just tapped out after like 15 episodes.
It's just the One Piece formula. If you're into one already, you're just going to spend so much time watching that.
We had Fantasian Neo Dimension. I was very happy to see this. Of course, OJ just referred to Nate basically predicting, quote unquote, this being there. We did have it rated at one point that it was going to go to Steam. So we were sort of like, okay, this is leaving Apple. This is the one that was in Apple Arcade. I did a whole video on Apple Arcade. And this is the one game I was like, it needs to at least go to other platforms. This is from Mistwalker, and this is from Sakaguchi. Course, and then they also have the composer there, Yamatsu, with them. And when you get basically the creators of Final Fantasy involved with a project like this and some of the talent, and then they're pretty much confined to Apple Arcade, it was a shame to see. But now it's going to everything: Switch, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Steam, all that happening this winter. And I recommend people at least look into this game. It is a very much a traditional type of turn-based RPG, but one that definitely calls back kind of those times of, I'll say like PS1, early PS2 days, sort of. But if anyone noticed when they were showing the trailer, the backgrounds, the way that they attained those backgrounds was they used photogrammetry and they built dioramas for every single background in person, and then they took pictures of them, high resolution pictures. So on Apple Arcade, they have to keep the file size kind of small. I almost wonder now, because they're going to HD platforms basically, if they're going to be able to use higher resolution images and assets and stuff so that the backgrounds will look even better, because those are really impressive. They'll even do like these sweeping shots because they have 3-dimensional images and all these different perspectives of the background when you're running through. So that part looks really, really cool. It kind of mimics pre-rendered backgrounds from the PS1 days, really.
Yeah, it seems that way based off of them titling it something different. And it seems like there's going to be a sequel based off of the a leak of not a leak, but like a rating, like a new name that came up. So yeah, I hope this is successful, and it's super cool to see Uematsu and Sakaguchi back with Square Enix making an RPG, like them like reuniting. That's super cool, because like they did not leave on good terms, So this is their first project they've ever done with them. Like he's been back to do something with them, Square Enix. So that's good.
Yeah, that was interesting to see Square Enix pop up with that, to be publishing and getting it everywhere. So I'm just happy that it's going as many places as possible. We can see how. I am curious how the crowds online will react to this kind of game. It's as traditional can be, to be honest. So I'm interested, and I hope it does well though. So there is another game from Apple Arcade that I feel like has to also come off of there, and unfortunately the name escapes me. But it was a Platinum Games title, and that's gone now.
Demon World.
Yeah, I would like to see that come off of there too, because we've seen Hello Kitty, we've seen this now, Fantasian, and we've seen Ninja Turtles, which is now going to the Switch to start next month. It's like 3 or 4 weeks away, and that's actually a good Turtles game. So that's the last. Demon World is the last one I can really think of off the top of my head that I think needs to get away from Apple Arcade. So Nintendo Switch Sports gets basketball. Go ahead, go Joseph.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say we also got Pocket Card Jockey, which came off of Apple Arcade.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Okay. Nintendo Switch Sports gets basketball as a free update, and I assume Sean looked at this and just immediately pointed out a Battle of the Sexes episode with it. So
Actually,
you?
Nate did.
oh, okay. I feel like this was up your alley with it being basketball and.
Celia and I are certified athletes, so I don't know if they want to go against us, but
Celia's an athlete. What does she play?
we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if it's
Oh.
public information.
Oh, okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I didn't know she was an athlete.
It's not like it. I don't know. It's just.
Is it curling? It's curling, isn't it?
It's not.
That'd be actually kind of cool though. I want her to teach me how to do that. I want to do that one of these days.
With the broom, where you're like
when you're like going like this and like you're moving that circular thingy to like a bullseye or whatever. I don't know what the hell they're doing.
That's in the virtual space though, so we'll see how that goes for you guys. But that does seem like a fun one to do for. They just had, I mean, they were doing like what was it 2-on-2 in Switch Sports? Or was it 3-on-3? It was 2-on-2.
2-on-2.
Okay, yeah, they had 3-point competition too, so you guys could actually have some fun with that. But it's a free update, so it's just something else to throw into Nintendo Switch Sport after Josie buried it. For
Yeah, literally, I was like, wow, I just made a video like talking about how like there's no sports and it's so stupid that they didn't add any more sports to it, and then Nintendo announced this. But
they saw your video and they're like, all right, here we go.
That's what I said in my review. I was like, I didn't realize they cared about me so much, but thank you.
So we had Memories in Orbit. This is it's like a Metroidvania game. Kind of remind me a little bit of Ori when I saw it.
Yeah, it looks kind of cool.
Next year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Disney Illusion Island got a free update. And then we had Hello Kitty Island Adventure. That's not out till 2025 though, so you guys are gonna have to wait.
My game.
It's timed exclusive too.
Oh, really? Man.
No.
They did announce that. Timed
snap 'em up.
exclusive on Switch.
Well, if that was originally on Apple, then it's double timed exclusive. That's impressive.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
They're
point.
collecting all sorts of Hello Kitty
Kitty's
bags.
taking the bag
Yeah,
left and
they're
right.
taking the double bag, dude.
Hey,
What's next? Game Pass after that? Like,
Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports is a very random announcement, but that is fall, so a
wasn't
few
in
months
love
away.
with the art. Wasn't in love with the art style.
I kind of forgot about the game until I looked back over the list. I'll be real.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have gone more 2D with it instead of like trying to make that weird 3D cell shaded
Yeah,
thing.
like more. It should have been more like, I don't know, just not the way that it looks. I don't know. Maybe you'll see the PS5 version. Maybe
Like,
they'll,
What's that frisbee game?
Windjammers?
Yeah, like that. I think that should have been an art style they went for.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Among Us got the free update that we found out about, and they pulled down and then put back up now. So there you go. We had we had our farming game, and I'm gonna make sure I pronounce this correctly. Farmagia.
Close
Can you
enough.
pronounce it? Is that what is it? What is it? Farmagia.
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 What?
I don't know.
Farmagia.
It's out,
That's why I said
out
close
of-
enough.
It's out November 1st, and from what I could tell, they showed some strange stuff in that trailer. It looked like you grow your monsters for battle instead of catching them like Pokemon style.
Oh yeah, and then you throw them like Pikmin.
Yeah, then you throw them like Pikmin. So I gotta play it now.
All right. Well, at least it was different than the other farming games. There you go. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. It's going to have 3DS levels January 16, 2025. And Forever Entertainment has got it covered.
So exciting, actually. I really like that game a lot. I just can't believe it's coming out in January. That feels like a game you announce and it comes out like a couple months later at the most.
Yeah.
2025 game. Yeah, that's interesting. Oh,
Random.
Forever Entertainment already getting beaten down online too immediately. It's already a thing. So people already zooming in 12x and stuff and picking out alpha channels and lighting being wrong. I mean, we still got a ways to go.
It's a Switch game. You gotta relax.
January, yeah. You still got like another 6 months before it comes out.
The complaint is some of like the in terms of some of like the effects and the coloring, in terms of like how things look, beforehand. So I went through the whole thread. The guy's crazy, but I can understand what he's saying. Like I get it.
I was kind of bummed that it was this and not like a new DK game because it's been like 10 years, but I'll take anything I can get right now.
I asked you about that, Josie. You said you'd be fine. Remember?
Well, here on the Spawncast?
No, when you rated me and I asked you about like, hey, what would you think? Remember? You don't remember?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't, because I'm happy regardless, but I wish it would.
Does the new
be a
DK
new
game, should it be 3D? You think is that the what the
I
next
don't
one
care. I don't know.
No.
I
should be?
If
I don't care.
if it was 3D, I think that'd be cool. I really like 2D, and we don't have like a lot of franchises who are just 2D. You know, like Kirby's going 3D, Mario's 3D. I'm okay with DK sticking to 2D, but
What if it was a dating sim, Josie?
please, Donkey. Imagine if you could
my
date
gosh.
Candy Kong. I'd be all over that.
Oh my no, that's bad for the internet. Let me just say that right now. That's bad for the internet. You do that.
I kind of think that would be pretty dope, though.
Right? You just date all the Kongs. Funky Kong. Oh, that'd get
Funky Kong.
crazy.
Just throw in
Sean
dating
muted
out.
his mic at the right time. Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake, and then Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D. So we got one in November, one in 2025. I'm a little surprised they didn't do anything with that name. It seems weird, but all right. It's just Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake. That's like the title.
Hey, you got to make it as simple as possible.
Looks straightforward
gorgeous.
as possible.
Looks
Like,
gorgeous.
Yeah, it does look incredible. I'm looking forward to seeing. I don't know if they uploaded the PS5 versions of the trailers yet, or if they did or not. But I'm gonna cop Switch and PS5. Square Enix needs to start doing cross save, because if you played Octopath Traveler 2 on PS5, or I think it's on PC now, it looks so good. But then of course having the portable play is great. But yeah, the animations and everything, it's gotten a bump up from when they first showed it. It looks way better from that first trailer. So very excited for it. It's cool that they're bringing 1 and 2 over as well. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it.
It looks different from their previous HD 2D games. I noticed that too. It
does.
looks brighter, more colorful. I don't know. It's the same, obviously the same kind of art style and engine and stuff, but it looks different.
Yes.
And the cover art looks awesome for this game.
It does.
It's not in a Akira Toriyama style, and that seemed to annoy some people online, but like, I mean, you're not gonna have someone come in and try to imitate his style for the cover art. You're gonna come up with something really cool like that. I think that's a good way, I think, to go about it. So,
Yeah.
I think it's funny because the cover art that I think is actually the best for it is on the Xbox, because they got the logo out of the way and it's still wide enough to have a very large shot of the image. So I just it's funny. It's the Xbox one that I think looks the best in terms of the cover art, and it's the platform that uses physical games the least. So, well. It's that looks good. Dragon Quest 1 and 2. The order technically is 3, 1, and 2. That's the order to play them in.
Yep.
So that's why they're doing that. But 1 and 2 was a Super Famicom cartridge when they did that. So they remade 3 for the Super Famicom, and then they took 1 and 2, put it on a singular cartridge, and released that in Japan. So I assume that's the route they're going here as well, just in HD2D. So we'll look for that next year. But if anyone's confused, we got the right order coming up. It just doesn't look correct. That's why I thought they'd rename it or something, or just do something with the name. But all right.
I actually appreciate how they did that.
Yeah, you like them sticking to it, just the numbered. And
well, keep the numbers the same, because for my own sanity, I like when they just don't do any tomfoolery with the naming convention of the games, but also have the director just say, "Hey, this is how we would like you to play them." That's the chronological way. I like that.
Let me ask you this, Ryan. You're gonna get these games physically. How do you put them up on the shelf? Do you put them a 3, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3?
Now you're just asking dumb questions, John. You put them in order.
I'm just trying to get it out in front of it now.
I mean, what kind of madness are you referring to? Or I'm going to put them out of order on the shelf. Oh, that's how you
which
should play
order?
them. That's
Story order or number order?
That's a good question. What if
then the whole
they do something with the
shelf would
cover
be
art?
ruined.
What if they do something with the cover art where it makes an image on the spine, kind of like Dot Hack when you have both of them together, but you have to put it 3, 1, 2.
Massive oversight on publishing and marketing to do something like that.
Massive oversight.
Just so stupid.
Let's go to Funko Fusion.
That game looked ugly.
Crickets.
I'm good.
Wow, jeez. no,
Let's go.
No
Move
Funko
on,
Pop
John.
people in here.
Nah,
Sean's got like a whole closet full of them. I thought he'd
I'm
be
not a
all over
Funko.
this.
I'm not a Funko person.
Yeah. I assume that's what this is for. I don't know. I mean, they threw it seemed like every license that they had access to for something like this at it, just to try to get people in. I don't know. I'm sure somebody out there was excited for it. It's just no one I've talked to so far.
If you like
So,
Funko Pops and movie stuff. You can play as a bunch, I guess, but it's not me.
I feel like
Just
people
looks
buy
like a
Funko Pops
bad
to
game.
never play with them. Like they buy Funko Pops just to leave them in the box and put them on the shelf.
What do you mean play
They're
with
not-
them?
yeah,
Like,
they're
there's
not
no
toys.
action that happens.
You do
It's not
something
like
with
karate chopping.
What?
Is
No, people buy action figures and play with them, right?
Is that what you're gonna do with the Josh? You're gonna do this?
Hey, I know somebody in this room right now who has a bunch of cool wrestling figures, and
No, he
they may or may
100%
not have
plays with
videos of
figures,
him
though.
making them give each other
100%.
suplexes in a little ring.
No, I don't play with them. They stay in the.
Not the ones that are sealed.
I don't. They're all on display, so I don't take them out of the case.
But
You have them all on display.
Yeah, I do.
I feel like I've seen you. I feel like I've seen that before. But
No, I mean I have before until
yeah,
I
that's what
got.
I mean a while ago when you were first getting them.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying the people who buy the Funko Pops are not going to do any of that. They're just putting them on the shelf and then just backing up and looking at it.
That's the point, right? Isn't it?
I don't know. I
had
to
a
me,
friend
I
and he
get
had
it.
a whole closet of them, and it was kind of cool because we'd be like, "Oh, that we know this character," but that was it, and he just liked to buy them. They're kind of like
I-
amiibo, you know? Like you don't open amiibo, you just kind of look at them. You're like, "Oh, that's cool."
But Amiibo at least has functionality outside.
Yeah, but
of
not
it.
if you don't open them, and a lot
That's
of people
true.
don't open them.
That's
That's
true.
not true for every box.
I mean, I've opened
You can
mine.
scan them through the box. I thought they blocked it in like all of them.
Well, yeah, some of them you can do it. I mean, I've seen how if you could like manipulate the box just enough to get it
Oh,
to
to, like,
register
tap
still.
it?
Yeah, if you're like insane and don't want to take it out.
We had Luigi's Mansion 2 HD out next week, this week, really coming up. And I'm not sure who's picking it up.
I'll get it. I'll get
Okay.
a code for it. I'll buy the physical later.
Okay.
I'll buy
Okay. I didn't know. I thought Sean, you were on the fence for this one.
What game?
Luigi's Mansion 2 HD.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's my physical for Paper Mario. I know it's hard. I got a code for it.
Pull it out of the
My
warp.
Physical for Paper Mario. All right.
I liked it on the 3DS. I feel like I would just
respect.
I feel like I would just be playing the same game again for $20 more and it would look better. I don't know. I liked it on 3DS. If you've never played it before, if people have never played it before, I think it's a fun game to get. But
I haven't played it. That's why I want to get it.
there you go. In that case, yes, it's Luigi's Mansion. It's fun. Let's see the new Denpa Men. It's free to play. There you go.
I heard about the game, but I never played it, so I don't know anything about it.
Out next month. Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. Tower Defense Metal Slug. It's already out. I feel like we're seeing a lot of Metal Slug right now, just out of nowhere.
Trying to bring it back.
I guess Metal Slug Tax is the one that I'm really just interested in, so I'm just waiting for that.
Yep.
This kind of came and went for me. I was like, all right, cool, Metal Slug. It just seems like they're trying to get more and more of these out there, maybe to, I don't know, remind people it exists. But I'm interested to see what else they come up with, because they seem to be doing everything but just make a regular Metal Slug game right now. So maybe they'll look at some other weird ideas. Darkest Dungeon 2 got announced. We had that sort of get out there ahead of time. Nintendo Switch Online games, we had Link to the Past 4 Swords and Metroid Zero Mission on the Game Boy Advance. And then we did have that N64 17 plus section, the app, Turok and Perfect Dark. All that stuff's already out. And it's interesting because over on Discord for the Spawncast, Trip and Fall asked, how come nobody ever talks about Sega Saturn to potentially come to NSO? It's the next logical step after Mega Drive, and most of the games have been lost to time.
No, I think Dreamcast is the most logical, because Dreamcast is a hell of a lot easier to emulate, and Sega just they like to pretend that the Saturn doesn't exist for whatever reason.
Wow, is that just like I don't know, because I feel like the Dreamcast we look at it with fond memories, but that hurt Sega, obviously. I know the Saturn did too, but is that just a system they look at and just go, no, we got to forget about this time period? Because it seemed like there are some games that just got left behind that I'm sure you could recommend a bunch to me right now, and I'd be like, I've never played those before.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of stuff on it, but I mean, the emulation of it, it took when you look at the growth of emulation for Dreamcast versus the growth for Saturn. I mean, it's completely different parallels. Like Saturn emulation is a hell of a lot better and a hell of a lot more accessible. But I mean, there's still instances where it can be a bit wonky. Whereas with Dreamcast, I mean, that's been going on for over a decade now. So I would never, I never expect to see Saturn. I mean, look at compilations and stuff. Look at re-releases. It's always Dreamcast stuff. It's never Saturn stuff, and that's from Sega themselves. So I wouldn't hold your breath for that.
Dreamcast would be cool though, but yeah, Saturn. It's too bad for the Saturn. And kind of reminds me of the PS3 in some respects for that. It's like just leave it behind. Phantom Brave, The Lost Hero, 2025, and then we had an announcement that I feel like this. Basically, I mean, this shocked everyone. I don't think anyone saw this coming. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection.
Nope. Didn't see it coming.
It has X-Men Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom Clash Superheroes, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and The Punisher. And it's not on the Xbox. So that seemed to cause a whole thing as well, where PlayStation, Switch, PC, no Xbox. People are trying to figure out why that is exactly. Is there a petition? I was waiting for that to pop up.
There's a petition for everything, honestly.
Yeah. Have any of the Capcom collections come to Xbox?
Yeah, Ace Attorney. But some of them don't. Some do.
I mean, like the beat 'em up collection and did Street Fighter 30th come to Xbox? I think that one.
I think it did.
Let's see. Well, apparently the word is there's an issue with MT framework on the Xbox, and Capcom just doesn't have the people to make it work, and they don't. I guess they're not going to go back and fix it up so it does work, and that's kind of why we're seeing this. But there was a point that was made. I didn't even think about it till it was brought up. It's not on the PS5. It's technically on the PS4, and it's working through backwards compatibility on the PS5. And apparently, Capcom has a pipeline for the PS4, but not the PS5 for this. It's strange. I mean, people were just so thrilled to see MVC2 in there that they even kind of forgot about it being a PS4 game and not a PS5 game.
I mean, it's an old game, so it doesn't matter if it's on PS4, PS5. It's just the license was gone, right? They lost the license. That's what happened. It was delisted. Nobody thought this game was coming back. And not only does it come back, but now we have physical, we have rollback netcode, and we have a bunch of games that you can play online. This is one of the best announcements, multi-platform, whatever.
That's not entirely true because it's been out on Arcade 1-Up for like a year and a half, 2 years.
Which cabinet was that? Which cabinet was that on?
They have
MVC?
An actual MVC2 cabinet.
Well, what I'm saying is from consoles, it was delisted.
Right, but I mean the license and stuff. Like I was surprised and like happy, but when you think about it, like most of the stuff, if it was available to Arcade 1-Up, like then yeah, it should have been available.
Oh yeah, if you look at the list of games, Sean, on this,
it's the same
Arcade 1-Up. I think it's everything but the Punisher. I think the Punisher might be, and there's something else that's missing. Hold on, NBC 1, 2.
The Punisher's on the X-Men or the Marvel Superheroes cab, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have any Arcade 1-Ups. I don't want to get. Can you do online with those?
Some of them.
Yeah.
Not all of them. Just okay. Gotcha.
I think the Killer Instinct one was one of the big ones with that.
Yeah. So I think it's just cool to have it on consoles again.
Oh yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I was very happy with that announcement.
The big deal is the disc.
Yes, exactly.
If this license goes again, you've got it.
You've got it on PS4. You've got it on Switch. All there on cartridge. So that or on the disc. So absolutely, that's a huge deal, Ryan.
Installs offline.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they print the whole thing on there.
This is one I would buy on the disc or cartridge because
the pre-orders are available if you like at Best Buy in certain places.
Like $50 too, so it's not even like they didn't even go for 60 or 70 or something crazy. Yeah, so it's after what I saw with like the original Xbox version and the PS2 version, those jumped to like $130 to $140 each or something. So after they delisted,
that's a pretty common thing
version
with not having it with no native PS5 version. A lot of studios do that. If there's like no like actual reason for a native version, they just ship PS4 copies.
Just PS4, and then it just runs backwards compatible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Capcom has been doing that with their MT Framework stuff. I had to double check, and I think they had that with like the Beat 'em Up collection, as Sean mentioned, and a few others.
I think
So,
Monster Hunter Stories that just came out. I don't think is that on PS5 native. I'm
I think
not
that's
sure if that is.
PS4, and then they have it on the Switch where they
Yeah,
bundle them together because I'll sell at the store. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's not like PS5, and there's no Xbox of that one either. So
It's a weird situation though to see, because that is like people on Xbox obviously were really annoyed by it, and then we had another thing that happened with Black Myth Wukong where it sounded real sketchy with what Microsoft tried to put out there. It sounded like that there was a deal in the background, but no one's still really sure. So it kind of it just compounded. It was like, okay, no MVC2, and Black Myth Wukong's coming later. Wasn't great when those were stacking on top of each other, but at least it's coming back, and we'll have it physically.
yeah,
Get it physically. I'll just tell everyone now. Just at least buy one of them.
yeah,
They will take it away.
one of these days.
Super Mario Party Jamboree. I'm really excited for that. I feel like
Banger.
I'm very excited.
I'll play it.
I'm very tuned out to Mario Party. I feel like I just keep seeing them over and over again. It's like, yeah, there's Mario Party. That's cool.
20%
every 3
online
years.
is crazy. That's so exciting.
Every 3 years they make a Mario Party. At least so far on the Switch era, 2018, 2021. At this point, so it's right on schedule.
I thought it was interesting that
yeah.
they stuck with the super branding.
That one sold like 20 million copies, so I can understand why.
Yeah.
See, we had. This is one of the games of the show that I'm very interested in seeing how it turns out. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. It's out September 26th, so it's out. I mean, it's out in 3 months.
Yep. I'm getting
showed it, and it looks like you are playing as Zelda.
Finally.
And that surprised some people because at first it looked like you're gonna play as Link. It looked like Link's Awakening, how that was remade by Grezzo, and I guess maybe Grezzo's doing this one too. I don't know. So it's very, very different than I was expecting, where it looks like Princess Zelda can run around and copy different things, and they're gonna build out puzzles for it. So that's what do you think, Josie?
I thought it looked awesome. I was super excited. I think it's a really interesting mechanic that they went with. It sort of reminds me a little bit of like Tears of the Kingdom, because it seems to be like kind of open, I guess, because like you can just like, if something's blocking your path, you build yourself around it. So I'm super excited. I think it's great that Zelda's finally has her own game. Just excited to see like how it turns out. Just huge year for the Nintendo women. We got Metroid out here. We got Peach. We got freaking Zelda. All 3 of them,
You didn't play like the Wand of Gamelot or whatever that hell was on the CD?
Oh, man. Why bringing that up?
We're not bringing. Oh, okay. Yeah. Fortunately, you didn't. Yeah, dude. I was the same way, Josie. Super cool to see Princess Zelda finally get her own game, especially after it's kind of been like teased a bit, right? We had like Winkle. We had that's not really Princess Zelda, but whatever. Or we had like Princess Zelda in Hyrule Warriors. I remember like everybody was like wanting to play as Princess Zelda in that game. Like when I was at E3 for it. So we finally got to see their Age of Calamity. Zelda's really good in Age of Calamity, and in just Hyrule Warriors. So it's finally seeing her get her own game is just dope, So I'm looking forward to it.
I love the Link's Awakening art style too.
Yeah,
looks great. It's because it's so gorgeous.
It's like
hopefully
they kind of dioramas, yeah.
Hopefully they work out the frame issues. That Link's
there were like weird stuttering and drops.
Yeah,
of
weird.
Frame rate, yeah.
When you like move from one screen to another, like you would just kind of judder a bit. So hopefully that's worked out.
They did show it 2D as well, like kind of again like how we had with the Game Boy, where you'd go into certain dungeon underground areas and it would go from 3D to 2D or top down to 2D. So I am picturing them to come up with some pretty cool traditional Zelda dungeon games with these abilities, and I think that's the part I'm most excited for, is the idea of, okay, we're not necessarily going to have another big open world Zelda game like we've had with Tears and Breath of the Wild and stuff. We're going to get that traditional top-down Zelda game that will be kind of weird with that, or being able to just create items that she finds. But I kind of feel like you go through a dungeon and the big weapon, if you will, or item that you get will be something that you find that you can then copy and use to then beat the rest of that dungeon and get to the boss, and then use maybe other parts of the world. So I'm envisioning them coming up with some pretty cool ideas with that feels genuinely unique.
There's a vital item in the dungeon that like hard gates you from certain obstacles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm envisioning right now with that. And I think they can
make sense.
Do some really cool stuff, with these different dungeons, to make it feel very creative, but still like that top down. That's the thing with the top down Zelda games, is they'll throw like a little thing in there, just kind of like a little wrinkle here and there, whether it's like, okay, Link can shrink down real small or something. But this feels like something where it's like there's all kinds of possibilities they can play off of with it. So that's why I'm really interested. I didn't show a lot of the dungeons, or he showed her like being able to copy enemies and items around her, but nothing too crazy. So I'm thinking there'll be some pretty cool stuff in there. That's why I'm excited for it. So
Yeah,
it'll be cool. Oh yeah, the Switch Lite system, Zelda system.
that thing looks really cool.
They
got it figured out. They know people about the buttons.
Because it's gonna be worth like just like the other Zelda console special editions. If you get those, they always shoot up in price.
And it's gold, and it's got the crest on the back.
If you have the new Nintendo 3DS, the XL, that one's worth pretty good. Like I have that one, so
They got it. They knew what they were doing with that 13 million prediction. They had the Zelda system waiting in the wings.
waiting.
And
Does this mean they're going to pass
imagine
the
it being
PS2?
that easy. What's that? Oh, the PS2 is somewhere between 155 and 160.
They'll never pass Jim Ryan will keep on making updates for the PS2. He'll never pass it.
I think the Switch will get past 160 and it won't matter either way.
Okay.
I think it
Do
will.
you really think he made that up, OJ?
No, I don't really think so. But people on Twitter think I think that.
Yeah,
So
it's a very strange thing. I don't really understand it.
I make jokes about it and they get upset. So I'll keep saying the same thing. Jim Ryan,
I think it will has a very good chance of passing it.
Oh yeah, it has a very good chance, yeah.
And okay, Just Dance 2025. So there you go.
Banger.
It lives on. Oh, there. Okay, great.
I had to mute the stream. Freaking crazy ass Ubisoft.
How?
Or wait,
they'll mess up your stream. So how long do you think Just Dance will exist on the Switch for?
50 years.
Because
We got at least 10 years on it, because there was the Wii supported to like 2018 or something ridiculous.
I will tell you, the Xbox 360, I turned on to check out the store for the last time before it gets shut down. There's a version of Just Dance on there from 2018.
Yeah, that was the last one for that generation.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah,
wow, for the
came out for the
360,
Wii too.
really? 2018? So now I'm like, okay, how long is it going to go for the Switch? They're going to keep that thing going to like 2030 something, maybe.
They're going to keep it. That Just Dance, man.
I used to play it all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's
it definitely had an audience.
Yeah. Obviously, it's got its audience. They keep on buying them. I just hate them for the freaking music, the stuff that I'm jacking my streams up. Man.
No, I know. I saw that come like Just Dance come on, and I was like, "Oop, muted."
Yeah.
Nope. No desktop audio.
Then we had Sony show up. Shout out to Sony and PlayStation with Lego Horizon Adventures. Coming out holiday 20. It's a very weird thing to see, but that's where we are in gaming right now. This is interesting to see the PlayStation logo pop up in a Nintendo Direct. I've never thought that back in the 90s.
Nope.
So there you go. Stray is coming to the Switch holiday 2024. We have Tales of the Shire.
Win. No, John.
Okay, sorry.
We win.
Go ahead.
Stray.
We win for Stray. Okay. Yeah. You liked Stray quite a bit.
I love Stray.
Okay.
I really liked at the start of the trailer where the cat's like trying to grip on it and he falls. Like I thought he was just gonna die and like that was gonna be the end of it, but motherfucker made it. It pissed me off.
That's the beginning of the game, basically.
I can't watch the intro. It makes me sad.
I was cheering. I was like, "Splat, you little bastard! There you go."
Oh, man.
My God, Sean,
Damn,
stop!
honestly.
Animal abuse.
Stop!
Only cats are not animals. They're something completely different.
Peter's coming after you. Peter's coming after you for that one.
A dog, I'd be like, "Hey, that's not cool." A cat, yeah.
Start playing Stray, Sean.
Yeah, I'll
How
get
it
right
goes.
on that.
Yeah. See how it goes.
Yeah,
How's that
yeah,
Switch port looking?
Be sure to do that, man. Sounds like a great time.
You just be rooting against the cat the entire time while you're playing as the cat.
Isn't a lot of the appeal of Stray that it's like a very pretty game?
It does look pretty nice.
It has an interesting art style and like some of the stuff they do in like the city area where it's kind of like neon. It's almost like cyberpunk, sort of. It's a weird world, but part of it is them trying to drag you to the end so you find out what happened exactly in that world, because it's kind of weird, some of the stuff going on in there. But it was different than I expected when I first turned it on, because I thought it was going to be like a action platformer kind of, but it was very controlled, I guess. Like you hit a button to go to a certain ledge, and they showed you which ledge you were going to go to, kind of thing. So that part was a little strange.
Click loved the game a lot, so yeah, she thought it was awesome.
It's very close to a cozy game, Josie.
She's got like 3 cats. Of course, she's gonna love the game.
Yeah, cat people like cat games. You know,
I know.
It's fine. It's good.
It's not quite like super cozy because there's like an allure and mystery to it, but it's so good.
Once I get into that, when I break my way into that cozy genre, that cozy
There's
group
a lot of
on YouTube,
There's a lot of views in that.
over it.
There's a lot of views in that book, Josie. You might want to do that.
Oh, I know, because my audience is like 99% male. I think I can open myself up a little
Yeah,
bit.
You gotta rebrand to Cozy Josie. You're all set.
Oh,
That's good.
suggestion.
You
We'll
just
make a
put
little
that laying on the
second
couch, Sean.
Or no, just like a segment, like it's just like Cozy Josie plays this or just whatever, you know. It's like a nice little segment that you have.
My issue is that I don't usually like cozy games, so I just
Well, that's not
Terrible.
good. I mean, you
So,
can fake it, but that's not
super work. But
I like the idea of Sean trying to like just going against all the cozy games, attempting to play them. So it's just completely different.
yeah, maybe
Feel to it.
Sean can play through these games with me. We'll do them together.
No.
Yes, we will.
good. That was fast.
Ace Attorney Investigations Collection.
They're
That's
running out of
number
games.
6.
They're running out of games to port over at this point. There's been so
Yeah,
many collections. I hope they got to be close to being done.
There was the 100 line. That's from the creators of Danganronpa. I'm not sure, but people seem excited for that.
It's a weird looking RPG, so I'm going to try it out.
Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven. That's in October. And then they closed out with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. And this was an interesting one for the internet to try to grasp. Apparently, people saw this and thought it was footage not of the current Switch. It was from some undisclosed system in an undisclosed location. And they decided to put it in the direct that everyone saw for some reason. So that's what happened.
I gotta ask a serious question. Did those people not play Metroid Prime Remastered?
I was thinking that, yeah,
Because as I'm
Oh, you
watching
brought
the
that up, right?
trailer, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, yeah, it's Metroid, cool. And it's, is this the Switch? Dang, on Switch. It's like, what? Like it didn't even like it looked good, but it wasn't like anything like holy shit. And plus, like you got a little bit of gameplay, then you got Silex come out, and it's like, okay, like
The reason why is because it's like on Twitter, people will just like they'll post MK1 all day, right? they'll post like the worst looking games, like ports or something like, oh, see, look, the Switch can't do anything. It's like they won't post stuff like Metroid Prime. People aren't talking about that, you know?
You think if we didn't have Metroid Prime Remastered to look at as kind of a like, okay, this is sort of where retro is with this this system, and then we just saw this game right here, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, do you think there would be a little bit of like more of okay, maybe there is something to this because we don't have Prime Remastered to go to?
Because
No, you don't think so?
no, because
It's notably.
Monster
I'm sorry, go
Hunter.
ahead, OJ.
Oh, my bad. Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak looks freaking incredible. And people were trying to say, oh, that's on Switch Pro. And Mario vs. Rabbids Sparks of Hope looks awesome. And that's on Switch 1. And Nintendo has their own first party stuff. Super Smash Brothers looks incredible. Runs great. So, no, I mean, me personally, I play a lot of Switch games. Obviously, I play PS5 and play everything else too. But I play a lot. And yeah, there's some games that look really good. Like SMT5 looks really good on Switch as well. So I don't know. I maybe it's just because I play. I think it's for people maybe who don't play as much. But Sean was saying he wouldn't even feel the same way either because he sees a lot of the Switch stuff as well.
Right.
I feel like the resolution was a giveaway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I think the Digital Foundry mentioned it was like 900p, but it wasn't as clean, and it was going through stream. But if you look on Nintendo's website, you can grab links to like basically their trailers that aren't uploaded to YouTube. Like they host them on their site and you just download them. And when you do that and you look at it, there's just aliasing around everything basically. So it's like, okay, yeah, obviously. But that is a game that I think would clean up even nicer if they decide to have a cross-gen version, we'll say, and then we can revisit the comparisons at that point. But
Well, that's
it
the
looked
thing.
like Metroid Prime Remastered kind of. So
I think the fair assessment is we can probably expect some later back half cycle Switch games are going to get spruced up on the next hardware. But you're not going to show that footage during a direct that is clearly outlined for Switch. They're gonna all these games are going to be playable and they're going to run on. They're not going to show footage of the next game to where it's like questionably too good looking. Like even if this game, let's say, is on the next hardware, which I think is also a pretty safe expectation, they're not going to show that footage.
Well, you even had like with the Mario and Rabbids 2. I forget the subtitle. Yeah, fucking Sparks of Hope. Yeah, journalists saying that's not running on a Switch. That's a Switch 2 game, and it's like, well,
yeah. Monster Hunter, like I said, Monster Hunter Rise was the same thing. So we've had it a few times. A lot of devs, obviously they're not going to invest like a ton of money into making graphics on Switch. They're just going to focus on the game and just getting it ported over or whatever. But no, I mean, like I get it. Like obviously, there's not a lot of games that look as good as Metroid Prime 4 on the system. We haven't seen. There's not just as many, that art style and everything. So I get it.
That said, I do want to give Nintendo and Retro Studio specifically credit. I think they're going to turn in the best looking Switch game because they're also going to have it running at 60 frames. So that also in conjunction with some of the stuff they showed in gameplay through stream, yes, but gameplay I think looked very dynamic as you're going through in that first person view and things are happening in the background, like big cannon fires crashing in and blowing up like the base and stuff. You're running in and you have the enemies dropping down. It looked like there was a lot going on while still trying to maintain that 60 frames per second.
Is it just me?
On a Switch that's using hardware from 2015.
Is it more zoomed out, John? It looks like it's more zoomed out than Prime.
You mean that like the field of view?
Yeah, the field of view.
The visor.
Yeah.
Well, they redid the visor. They were showing
it looked that way to me. So I'm like, good, because I already know I'm gonna get kind of with this game, but I'm gonna power through it. But yeah, that was good. It was a good finally to see the game, and it's coming out next year. So
I like this because the enemy that popped up, I said, you know what, that's Sean knows what's going on here. Sean's the guy.
I hope they pull more. Nintendo seems to have like a liking for Silex, but I want to see them all come back. I want to see Trace. I want to see all those hunters come back. Like, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested to see what they have in store for this game because they showed a very small section of it, and I think they're going to have areas that are built out a bit more and maybe have some other elements to it as well. So I'm excited to see what they have in store for us there with Retro.
Do we think that they're going to have an online element to the game?
That's why I want to see. That's why I'm hopeful for more hunters. Like I want this to be like Metroid,
like Halo fun.
No, not necessarily. I mean, it's just when you look at Metroid Prime Hunters, like it had native voice chat, it had like a ton of maps, like it was, and the single player wasn't great in it. So I feel like that's kind of why they did it. But it's like, dog, it's 2024. Like I feel like you could do both. And especially considering how long of a wait this has been, I hope. I'm not expecting it, but I hope.
Yeah, I'm not expecting it, but it would be great. I'm with you there. I think they're just going to try to build out a game like a 30-hour campaign or 20 to 30-hour campaign with this game. And then maybe if it's successful, maybe the next one. But I hope they do.
I really hope they have some. I feel like that's how you get this game to like exceed like the base Metroid fans. Because like it's going to sell 3 million or so copies, right? Just because of all the Metroid fans. But to go beyond that and to capture like different audiences and maybe new audiences, I think you got to add something like multiplayer. Because like you imagine that's just going to be considered like Nintendo's Halo. And it could be this big thing for streamers, for content creators that like brings in so many more people at the same time. I
don't know if they have the multiplayer chops. I mean, Hunters was great, but the multiplayer did nothing for the sales of the game, But
like Splatoon, they have like Splatoon now. They kind of understand like that aspect, so maybe they could mash the two together.
Well, retro. I don't know about Retro's multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like chops. Like obviously Nintendo with Splatoon that kind of came out of nowhere and they did a great job with that. I hope let's see it. I just want a great single player campaign, but if they can do multiplayer and I don't want one to be compromised, right? Like I don't want it to be like Hunters, where Hunters, it's fantastic. Sean is right. The multiplayer is really good, but the single player is kind of ass. Like it's not bad, but it's not as good as the quality of the previous single player campaign, especially the Prime series. So that's the only thing. I'm hoping they can do both. But you're right, Josie. I mean, if they were able to do a great, incredible multiplayer, I think that would definitely appeal to people outside of just like the Metroid fandom.
They seem to have Retro. They seem to have hired throughout this development a lot of people who had worked on things like Halo and Call of Duty and Destiny, even. So I don't know. I almost wonder if maybe Josie's onto something, and I wouldn't mind if they just made an arena shooter. That's it. You don't have to do anything crazy. Battle Royales, live service. You don't have to do all that stuff. You just arena shooter.
Just
kinda
something
stick with that, and just something fun with it. It doesn't have to be a built out, ever evolving world, or no, it's not that big of a deal. Most people are going to probably pick it up for the single player and then realize there's a multiplayer. I think that'd be fun. Also, Nintendo does, of course, technically from their first party side, always have that little bit of pressure to have something online with online connectivity, or like some kind of function for their NSO service to keep selling, right? To have something to push it up with. So I wouldn't mind it, but if it's going to compromise, you say a single player, I also wouldn't miss it. So, but hey, why not? It'd be fun. Sean can relive his days of tethering his Wi-Fi and running up and down the hallway.
No, it wasn't tethering. It was that was because people were hacking in the game. So if they beat you and you lost to a hacker, that would go against your star rating. So we would run. I lived on a second floor apartment, and we would just run downstairs and start running down the street until the connection dropped, and then it wouldn't count against you.
It's wild.
You just unplug the router?
No, because I wasn't by myself. My buddy was at my house, so I'm not gonna. He's in the middle of a match. I'm not gonna fuck him over, and vice versa. So you would just know. You start running out the door, run down the stairs, run down the street.
That count that as a loss, or did it just give you like no decision on it?
It was be like a no decision.
Oh, okay. Wow. Oh, so you had like a perfect record in that thing.
No, because like if somebody was legitimately playing the game, they were just better. Like I didn't care. It was whatever.
No.
Like basically when you're playing as Trace and you're headshotting a motherfucker and it does nothing, or if they start flying around the map or something, you're like, okay, I need to disconnect. But like if somebody's
flying,
yes, people would fly, infinite ammo. Damn. Like rapid fire and stuff. That's why
What's the point of doing that? That's just
ruin the game.
Yeah, I mean, ruins the game.
If it's a natural exploit, I don't hate it. Like getting out of bounds or something. Like, I don't hate that. That's fine. Like that's cool as long as it's within the game. But if you're using like an external thing to hack the game, then it becomes bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that was the direct. I think most people look at that and say that's pretty good for a system in its 8th year. So
9 out of 10 direct. Really good for me.
Okay. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was up there as well.
Yeah, I said 8. I felt that it was a good direct. Maybe like one more, like a F-Zero or like a Star Fox, some other type of classic game being brought back. Or if like a new Donkey Kong game was announced, I think I would have given it a bit higher. But yeah, I thought it was solid. I thought it was really good.
Well, I do want to ask this before we move on. Do you think this is the last general direct before Nintendo unveils their next system in some way?
Yeah.
Did we just see the last Switch specific direct? Did we just witness it before it's like, okay, here's the new system?
I think so. I think September we probably get something about the Switch too. Because I mean, why would they have like said what they said on Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
At least in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we'll find out about the new system sometime later this year. So makes sense to
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. It's been a long time coming. Go over to some of the super chats here. Inferno Fox Gaming says, "See you all at Too Many Games in a Week." We'll be there.
Yeah.
Mighty Ryan says, "Why does RGT pretend to hate anime?"
I didn't realize I was pretending.
You actually love it.
Cillian Gamer says, "Next time Spawn takes a day off, can it please be followed by a special John's Day Off segment? Could be quality, meaningful, positive content." Silver Strike says, excited for the Too Many Games panel next week. Yum Yum says, if you'll be on vacation for a month, we'll take a Spawnwave live show and Newswave. Will there be an AI replacing you doing them? Oh, maybe in like 10 years or so, everyone could just take vacations they want. It'll just be AI versions of you filling in.
That's awful.
TJ says, don't know if you saw it, but the Trails series is now big enough that Trails through Daybreak 2 got a mention in the most recent Japanese Direct. GameCube says, Elden Ring's UI is trash for no reason. Why is that? Well, a lot of the stuff they try to hide. So when you're running around, they don't really have anything on screen. But if you mean like going through the menu system, yes, that it does feel old. I was like, it feels kind of archaic. Teacher says, haven't developers been upset at Xbox for a while now? And they've been
there's been some I saw a Friends Per Second podcast clip where they had a few sources where some people were saying like smaller developers, right? Indie developers, like if you don't get a Game Pass deal, it's not really any point because the games don't really sell too much. A lot of people on Xbox won't buy the game, if it's not in Game Pass, right? Because you get such high quality games like Persona and Octopath and stuff like that in Game Pass. It's like, why are you going to buy this game, this random RPG or this random smaller game? Now, don't get me wrong, it's not everybody. Xbox base, not it. I'm just saying this is what some of the stuff out there. Then you look at some of the leaked sales numbers from Capcom, and a lot of the games piss poor in terms of sales, with some of the leaks out there. So I'm just saying that's what some of the stuff comes from. That's all.
And TJ says you should watch Maximilian Dude's full direct reaction if you haven't already. Once MVC came up, the rest of the direct didn't matter to him. Well, it spent years trying to get it done, and it just randomly shows up in a direct when you're not even expecting it. So,
yeah.
Redison says, been watching all for a minute. Love everyone on this pod. My question is, how did everyone on the podcast meet and come together? Half of them I don't remember. I don't know how Sean and I met.
You asked
Honestly,
me to come on. You just messaged me one day. You're like,
no, maybe that's how it is half the time. I just message somebody. Hey, when you come on the podcast. Okay.
That's how it was with me and you too. Because like you were obviously gonna run across each other because like we make Nintendo content or like Switch stuff or whatever. So you're gonna see like recommended. You're gonna see in like your analytics who watches your channel and stuff. So it's just kind of like natural, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I started watching John. He was on the couch, and I was like, "Hey, this guy seems smart."
I was on the couch. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I was like, you had like 500 subscribers at the time when I subscribed to you, so it was a long time ago. So yeah, I was like, yeah, he seems cool. And then eventually, I think one time you just invited him. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I watch him. So that's that.
I think I just messaged Ryan. Like, hey, you do PlayStation stuff. Pretty good at it when you come on the podcast.
Yeah,
that was
just reached out.
Yeah.
RGT found me on another podcast and picked me and put me over here, which I appreciate.
Which podcast was it?
Different one.
Oh.
I'll tell you behind the scenes.
Okay, never mind.
Damn. Right about Metroid Prime 4.
The Alpha Male podcast. Yeah. I was on the whatever podcast. Just kidding.
Oh, yeah, right.
Collector's edition with a Samus visor to go next to my Master Chief helmet. Also, are we expecting a multiplayer mode at all with this? We just brought that up. But they're gonna have a collector's edition for Metroid. I bet they'll do something. I would like them to do a Switch. I think that'd be cool. But if they do a Snatch or something, that'd be fine too.
Some like Samus, like the tint of her armor, Joy-Cons.
Red shifter would be good.
Yeah, man, that'd be dope.
/ for OJ. Hashtag free Melee. Hashtag free Zane.
The Melee community got really pissed off at me today.
Well, Rasta Life says, at what point did you agree with RGT when he said Nintendo won the console wars? Oh yeah, you riled some people up with that video, didn't you, Sean?
Why?
Because a lot of people don't even feel like J-Main. You don't even feel like it's a console. So how dare you put it in with those systems?
What company is not putting their games on to other competitive platforms?
Gosh,
like I'm not saying by default that the Switch is the better console. If you like the PlayStation 5 better, cool. If you like the Xbox better, cool. I think those systems do a lot of things better than the Switch. They have some better software as well as far as different software types. But one company is not putting their properties onto other platforms, and the other two are.
Tora says, would you guys rather be spoiled by leaks or surprised at a game direct?
I'd rather be surprised. I think it's cool. Like if we can find out some stuff, I like the cryptic stuff. That's cool. But like if people just outright say it, that's not cool, right? So for me, cryptic is better. But yeah, just being surprised at a direct is dope. You know, like it's cool to be like,
oh yeah,
Marvel vs. Capcom is coming. What the hell? Oh my gosh, new Mario and Luigi. Like that's cool. You know.
I think you can still have knowledge of it and then still be, I don't say surprised, but excited when it's shown. Like we've known that Astrobot was getting its own game, its own full-fledged game for a while, but it still got shown and it was still awesome. Everyone was still excited for it. So
yeah, would have been cool if it just randomly showed up though.
But I feel like leaks don't super, because like there's so many leaks that you don't really know which ones are true or not unless they're from Fiora over here. So
PR says, guys, they're after. PR says, guys, they're after me. If I'm going down, RGT is going out with me. RGT is a Nintendo YouTuber. He has a shrine on Reggie with 2 Joy-Cons on his nips.
I don't even like Reggie. I've talked lots of shit about Reggie.
PR says otherwise.
Jorge says, I think Nintendo doesn't show who's developing the games till credits show is due to recent years of their staff devs being harassed online. They won't talk about the company either sometimes, so it'll just be a mystery.
That's probably part of it. They don't want to have like they're being like overprotective of it. I know just from stuff, they were not happy with the Bayonetta situation, Bayonetta 3 situation, and how people tried to like overthrow the voice actor for the game, when they know before like ahead of time. That was not a good situation. So I think that's part of it, but there's probably other reasons they just do it just because, just because they feel like it.
Let's see. Dennis in the Light says to everyone watching, please buy the Marvel vs. Capcom collection so Capcom and Marvel make MVC 4. This is, Cristobal says, what do you guys think of Mario Party having a Party Royale mode? And then RGT is the Qbert hate from the Pixels movie.
I've never watched Pixels. I just think Qbert sucks.
Have you seen him in Wreck-It Ralph? He's kind of redeemable in that
I've
movie.
seen. I don't really remember. I watched it, but like I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Mm-hmm. We talked about the Mario Party.
Seems awesome.
Party Royale. Yeah, it's different. I don't. We had that with it wasn't really about a Party Royale thing with like Endless Ocean where they said there's 30 some odd people can swim around. So
but like nobody bought Endless Ocean, so hopefully this is a little cooler.
It's not a game though. Like if they built out a game with Endless Ocean, people would have actually bought it.
They Subnautica that thing. Oh.
Yeah, if it was
the idea of them throwing up big numbers of multiplayer.
Yeah, like if it was
that's fun.
Mario Party's an actual game, like there's objectives and stuff.
Let's see, we have a Put who says, does the success of X-Men 97 prompt Disney to give Capcom the go-ahead on releasing MVC Fighting Collection?
I don't think it had anything to do with that.
Yeah,
considering, like I said, they've already licensed it before for prior things. I would like to see an X-Men 97 beat 'em up though, like in the style of the original X-Men arcade game.
And they've probably been working on this since before X-Men 97 even blew up like it did. It was probably...
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I don't think it was like, X-Men 97 did good. All right, released it.
They just had it ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go. Right X-Men 97 was great. All right, release the game now.
But if we get that X-Men 97 beat 'em up in like a year and a half, then maybe. Might have been from the show.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a cool idea. I hope they do, because that art, they could do some really cool stuff with an art style for that.
They should let the Shredder's Revenge people do that.
Oh,
they could kill it.
Well, I mean, so many companies are making games like that now. It seems like there's a formula that's out there. You got G.I. Joe, Toxic Crusaders, or Avengers. So I think the secret's out, that and the Power Rangers game as well.
It's good.
Oh yeah, that one looks exactly like.
Yeah, they all kind of blend together. But like, I'm gonna play the fuck out of all of them.
I didn't see your thoughts on that, Sean. Did you like the way that Power Rangers game looked?
Yeah, look, it reminded me a lot of like a Super Nintendo game style, but almost like a 32-bit Super Nintendo game. Like some of the scrolling stuff and the perspective, like when they're on the roller coaster and stuff. It's like, okay, that's a little bit.
I thought the
beyond
sprites were
7.
kind of small, maybe.
Yeah,
Compared
maybe
to like Super Nintendo, like the Super Nintendo one or the Genesis one.
Well, the Genesis one, the first one was a one-on-one fighter. It wasn't until
that's what that was. I was trying to
Yeah.
remember that Power Rangers game where it was a fighting game and you were like the big Megazord fight. Okay, all right.
Bro, I remember renting that and I was so hyped. I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. And then it was just like a fighting game. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, why didn't they make a beat 'em up? And then over on Super Nintendo, they had a beat 'em up. But then they did the movie game, which was good. But
Yeah.
This is from I love Coke Slurpees, who says the Saturn killed Sega Harbor, not Dreamcast. Dreamcast was profitable, but not enough to get Sega out of the hole. Saturn caused all the debt. Sega sold more Dreamcast in less than 2 years than Saturn did at 5.
I don't know where to start with this, but there's a lot of misinformation in what you said, good sir.
Well, start somewhere. Let them know. You can't just leave them after a $10 dono. You got to let them know.
And hey, he ain't paying me $10. He paid John. John can break down the lore, or he can send me a $10 bill, and I'll explain it.
Okay.
All right, Sean, go ahead and explain it.
All right, $10. I come to collect too. I'll have my night.
I will buy you wings at Too Many Games.
You're already buying me dinner. You got this. Got to be buying me a drink or something.
Oh
This
man,
is
that
additive.
wing. Are you guys gonna go to that same wing place? Now I'm upset that I can't go. Damn, that place was good.
The brisket.
If we
and
can,
wings
if we can
place.
get out there and they have
Yeah.
room, yeah.
Every
So
time
this-
you guys talk about too many games, it is wings.
The
Like
wings
that's
were
the main. That's
they
the
were
main thing.
delicious.
They were fine.
I'm
They're not
Dude,
really
enjoy-
I have
all
I
of
have
us are-
crazy
those-
expectations.
Bro, there's a Wendy's there too. We're gonna be like, yo, this Wendy's, bro, shit was fire. Like,
No,
it's a Wendy's. Like the wings are
What?
fine. All right,
wings are
so the Saturn was not a commercial success stateside, correct? However, in Japan, it was actually much more successful than the Nintendo 64 was. The Dreamcast was it sold okay, but the problem was you had projects like Shenmue, which cost $100 million to make in the late 90s, just that for inflation, and they didn't make any of their money. They didn't make anywhere near their money back on that. And then you had the whole fact that the PlayStation 2 was a cheaper DVD player. The Dreamcast didn't have anything like that, and it just got crushed. But to say that the Saturn was the downfall, the Saturn was a problem for sure, stateside. But you had so many issues with Sega of America versus Sega of Japan wanting to go in different directions and stuff like that. Like, no.
wasn't there an issue too? I remember watching a documentary. A lot of what you said was true, Sean, but the software sales were also pretty bad, and obviously Sega Dreamcast had a piracy problem too.
Yeah, the piracy problem was very prevalent from the start of it. And I mean, there was some when you look at, like, yeah, it did decent in 2 years, but all things considered, it really wasn't like that crazy. The best-selling game was Sonic Adventure.
Mm-hmm. You got to sell
Which one you
software.
lose on Shenmue.
Yeah, you can sell hardware, but you got to sell software. That you got to have good software sales, or you're going to be in trouble.
Sega had a lot of problems.
Also, they had what else? They didn't like the 32X and the Sega CD and like the Nomad. All of that was kind of a.
Well, no, I mean the Sega CD was fine. The 32X, I wrote a book on it, and I talked
on
to
Amazon.
Tom Kalinske from Sega of America, who told the story of the 32X and stuff like that. It was a weird situation. They were also getting bodied by Nintendo. Really, Mr. M, because the Genesis was actually more popular in the States than the Super Nintendo was. But I'm sure you knew that. I'm sure you're well aware of that, Mr. M. But yeah, the real problem was Sega of America and Sega of Japan. It's not like Nintendo of America and Nintendo of Japan, where Nintendo of Japan says this is what we're doing, and Nintendo of America is like, aye, sir, we will do it whatever you say. They were two different companies with two different ideas of where to take everything, whether it's hardware, whether it's software, whether it's game development. That's why you ended up with Sonic CD and Sonic the Hedgehog 2, because Sega of America was like, Sonic CD was supposed to be Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Sega of America was like, no, we don't want this to be Sonic 2. We want to do this. So it was always a clusterfuck.
Definitely need to make
Okay.
a video
Thank
on
you,
that. I'd watch you talk about history of Sega more. So
It'd be like 2 hours of Sean talking about it.
I'll break it up into parts.
I wouldn't even edit it. I would just be sitting on my computer just bitching, just my face for 2 hours.
It would be sweating by the end of that.
No, yeah, but it would be the most evergreen video you ever put out.
It probably would be.
Yeah, people would love that. Actually, that sounds like a good idea. When I ramble on about Switch games for an hour, people watch that shit forever.
I go crazy. Sean would like get up and be like animated and stuff while he's talking about certain parts. Man,
5-minute segment where he gets up to go get his DoorDash and comes back and
pans. It'd be
Unedited. Just
let's go over to limited run game showcase. This is another one where the MVG is there's quite a few things here actually, but let's start at the top. Dark Forces Remastered, good game. Physical copies now out or coming out. Pre-orders are already up, and that means people will get them a year and a half from now. Valis, the Phantasm Soldier Collection 3. Okay, so let me ask this as we go through this. Did anyone else watch this? And
I had.
we're kind of confused as to half the games that were mentioned here.
I think part of the problem was it was hard to tell if a game was a new announcement or if it was just getting a physical release. And in the case of the Valis thing, that collection had already been physically released. It just wasn't physically released stateside.
Oh, see, I was just half the time they said games, and I'm like, do I not know this game? Like, I don't know what this is they're showing me. I don't know if it's out. Like it's coming out before.
Yeah, the Valis collection is out. Like Dark Forces Remastered is out. The Valis collection, you could buy it right now on the Switch or something like that.
Okay. We had Rain World. And then we had Fighting Force Collection.
That was pretty cool. I liked that one.
My history with Fighting Force is mostly over at a friend's house way back in the day, and I would watch 90% of it happen, like the game being played. It was like one of those friends where you'd go over, they had all the cool stuff, and you just watch them play it. So I don't.
That's not a good friend.
But I mean, it was like they had the new system, and you were like within proximity of the system, so you get like the aura of the new system.
Yeah,
like they're like, you can come over and watch me play this cool new system, and it's like, well, it's either that or
not at all.
play this crummy Nintendo, old Nintendo. It's like, yeah, I want to play the new CD-based 3D system. Let's do that. But so I don't have a lot of history with it. I don't know if anyone played Fighting Force like that, but I'm interested.
You know what? That sparked a memory that happened. Like one of my friends, they definitely had money. He had a Neo Geo. I used to just watch. Never.
Oh yeah, for Neo Geo, yeah.
Just watch. Yeah, when it came out, like launched, I was just like, oh my goodness. That's like $600 back then or something like that.
Yeah.
The cartridges
were crazy too.
Yeah, in the early 90s. So
we had Renane, and then we had Wolfenstein 2 Switch physical copy. It's all in the cartridge this time, so that's good. Cosmic Fantasy Collection 2. It's a physical copy. G.I. Joe Wrath of Cobra. This was one Sean mentioned earlier, the beat 'em up game. Also getting a physical copy. Salt Suit Leonis 2. Saturn Tribute. That is the whole title. 2024. Is that a Saturn game, Sean? That's what I'm taking?
I've never played any of those games.
Okay.
I know people like them, but I've never felt the need to play them. And I know there's been quite a few of them as well.
Snow Bros Wonderland. It's 2024. Gimmick 2 in 2024. Sea Smash VRS physical. It is a PSVR. It's a game with a PSVR 2 mode.
Let me tell you something about that. That shit pissed me off.
What?
Because Josh was like, I love the Dreamcast, and we know there's a lot of Dreamcast fans, so here's a Dreamcast game. So I'm like, oh, all right. And then they show this shit. I'm like, what the? I've never even heard of this motherfucking game. Like, Jesus Christ, Josh.
It had already come out. Like they did a
Yeah.
PSVR2 mode. They added in and everything. That's the game where they showed it off on the PlayStation Portal, and that was kind of weird when they did that. But it was, I don't know. Apparently, it's a cult classic on the Dreamcast.
I guess maybe that's got to be a strange cult because I'm not familiar with that.
Well, there's a cozy game community, so I think.
But they're not crazy. They're not crazy. They're
They're probably like the most chill people on
They're-
YouTube.
we should have Kat on, the casual gamer. She's awesome. And I met her at the Seattle show, and she does awesome stuff.
Interesting. Sean and the cozy gamer on here. Okay.
We should have
yeah.
Liz the last one if we're throwing them out there. She makes some of the best
You could
cozy
just-
game
You
content.
just do a cozy cast, John, and I'll just.
I will talk to
The
I will
cozy
talk-
cast.
I just want to feel because I know you're gonna have like your microphone muted. I feel the rage building in you as like we go through all the cozy games to eventually
I
just
will
probably
talk to Kat.
exploding
She'll
on
come
stream
on.
in a glorious like cancellation.
Kat is awesome. She'll definitely want to come on.
Ryan, there's a PSVR2 game getting a physical copy technically. PSVR2 mode. Are you picking it up?
Probably eventually. I'm trying to
Yeah.
make sure I get a lot of PSVR2 games on disc since there's like very few of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like there's only like a handful of them at this point. There's not many.
No,
Didn't
there's
like
not
a new
lot.
report come out that they're cutting some more funding or something like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I might talk about that tomorrow in an upload.
Yeah, I'll watch that because I didn't really research.
And
it
then
too much.
people can tune in to the live streamed PlayStation show that Ryan are doing tomorrow.
What's it called?
Yeah,
Oh, well, this is news to me.
Well, you were the one who
Surprise.
was like, we should live stream it.
Yeah, I didn't know we were doing one tomorrow, though, were we?
Oh,
Did
can
we
do it tomorrow
establish
if you want.
that?
No, we haven't established it. We can do it tomorrow though if you want.
Okay, so you try to just pull a fast one on me.
Maybe.
Yeah, we're doing the show tomorrow.
Now we were recording them, and then Ryan was like, at the second episode, he's like, we should live stream. I was like, oh, okay, all right, we can live
Well, I
stream.
thought that's what the plan was.
we could do it. We
Just-
could do it. It's a
Ryan, here's
what is
you
the
do
name
with
this
John.
week?
Shh, quiet, John. Here's what you do with John. Whatever you want to do, however you want it done, you just tell him. You're like, this is how it's gonna be, and 99.9% of the time, he'll just be like, okay. You got to bully him around a little bit, and he'll do it. Whatever you want, just lay it out there.
You're not wrong, but he's
I
just trying to
know.
pull that on me.
It's just, hey, what are you doing, motherfucker? I'll pick the day.
Well, I don't play that game. Well, let's figure this shit out first.
There we go.
So tomorrow we're gonna live stream. It's what's the episode called this week anyway?
You want to name the episodes?
No, the show it's still Click R3. I don't know if we came up
Yeah,
with a
it's still
name
Click R3. It's staying like that forever. It's a done deal.
EPP.
There's no XMB appreciators, and there's certainly no prostate pusher appreciators either. So
I saw that name, but RG did. I
Sean was real
almost,
proud of himself on that.
I almost spit out my drink, dude. I almost spit out my drink when I saw
It does.
this.
it does roll off the tongue. I'll give you that.
But I feel like people would
so
go
the
to
other
the
one
show
we've been
expecting
obliterated.
something else.
Yeah.
You
Well,
get those OnlyFans girls,
It's like
right?
some
Or get the
Men's Health magazine type shit.
You guys could become the next whatever podcast.
Oh no, you don't want that. Those people are crazy.
well,
Really sound logic over there from those men. Don't want them to just die at all.
Oh my goodness, it's not
They're
that
bad
serious, is
people.
it?
They're bad people. They're very bad people.
Damn,
Worse
okay.
than me?
Right.
Yeah,
But-
by a lot.
Wow. Wow.
I know.
The
it's
bar's
huge.
been raised. Sean's unleashed.
Seriously.
Well, Ryan and I will have a new episode of the PlayStation podcast, Click R3, sometime soon.
There you go. That's the right language.
Sometime soon. I didn't know because there was too many
TBD.
games week coming up how we are gonna do all that stuff, but
I mean,
it's happening.
It would make sense. I guess we'll figure it out.
We'll do a PlayStation podcast soon. It'll be
Next
fun.
game on the list.
I'm actually gonna skip the next game on the list.
What is it?
It was Beyond Good and Evil, but I'm gonna save that for the end because I had a thing to add to it. Penny's Big Breakaway is getting physical copy.
Nice. I'm gonna
Very
pick that
cool.
up. Yeah.
Good news. Sean brought up a point. They need to have a patch for the Switch version on there, hopefully. So we'll see.
Is it still busted?
No, they added a 60 frames patch. I don't know if it ever came
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, no, it came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
It better be that version.
Jay and Silent Bob, Chronic Blunt Punch. Physical
Another
copy of that.
2D. Another 2D beat 'em up.
Followed up by Toxic Crusaders, physical. Random hit is Hitman Blood Money Reprisal getting a physical copy. That's interesting. All right. Fear Effect re-release. That's 2025.
Let's go.
PS4, PS5, Switch, Steam. No Xbox.
The most controversial game back in the day. You guys remember the controversy with this game?
They did a lot of advertising with it that did not go well with parents.
No, it did not.
Just like many other 90s games.
It's no big deal,
Yeah.
though, guys. It's not anything that's crazy.
They pushed the envelope with some of the, especially the magazine ads. Those ones are crazy.
Oh, the magazine ads were nuts.
All the magazine ads were wild back then.
Yeah.
So we had Starship Troopers Extermination. It's getting a physical copy of that. I don't know. This game, maybe it's because after what happened in Helldivers 2, but I'm at least curious about it to see because it's like a first-person shooter really version of it. So we'll find out. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop Physical. It's
A
coming
lot
out,
of people don't like the box art on that.
I did see,
Really?
yeah, some people
You
because
see
like
that?
she's just like I don't know, she's like charging forward. I'm not sure what she's doing.
You know, you know what though? I don't hate it.
Hey,
I don't think it's that bad.
I don't hate it, but it would have been better if she was just like facing like let's say the school's behind her, and then it was
Yeah.
just like her and then like two like other people like behind her. I think it would have been, and she's just like holding her chainsaw. I think it would have been better box art that way. But I get,
you know what it is? They don't have the chainsaw in the box art.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
It's cut off. That's the problem. Oh, that's
yeah.
weird.
Like the side view of her, I think it would have just better if she was like facing, looking, and then like the school behind her, like with zombies and stuff like that, and then her like revving up the chainsaw, or whatever. That would have been a better box art. This box art just seems kind of, they just do it together. It's whatever. It's the box art, but yeah.
The real problem with that game is the licensed music, which is no longer there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, they also have like a cut and an uncut version too. I feel like most people probably just play the uncut version. Anyway, that's coming up later this year. We have Double Shake. It's 2025. Ghosts. That's 2025. Rugrats Adventures in Game Land. Looks
Dope.
good.
That shit looks fire.
This
I'm glad
Rugrats is
people
a
actually
goated-
want that. Yeah.
Rugrats is a goated show. It's still good today. It's aged incredibly well.
you can switch between the old visuals and the new visuals. I think with just a button press, so you'll jump between them. And this is the game where they are releasing an original Nintendo cartridge of it.
Right.
So yeah, you can just buy that if you want to play it there. But I mean, otherwise you play the same version basically on your PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, whatever. And they said it's a classic 8-bit platformer, and then they have like the HD version with the new assets and stuff. It looks awesome. It does. Also, that is, I'm sure, coming from a lot of us who are like remember like the old days of Rugrats, so they're targeting the right audience then. Gex Trilogy. Repairs open fall 2024. Okay. Shantae Advance. We had Ninja 5.0, which is a game that is way too expensive online for the cartridge. Clock Tower Rewind. And then this is definitely, it would have been a big moment for MVG if it's on here. We have hold on. Tomba.
Oh
Did I say
my
that right?
God.
What is it?
You'll never get that, John.
It's not
Tomba.
Toomba.
It's Tomba. You like
Tomba.
halfway got there. I don't know how you managed to do that, but
Tomba.
it's
Okay.
Tomba.
Tomba. It's like Tom, the name, and then
Yeah.
Ba.
Tomba.
Okay.
Whatever gets you there. Yeah.
Okay. Tomba. All right. Kind of interesting that I get in trouble for that, and then Sean said Toomba 18 times in this video the other day.
I said whatever the fuck I want. You got a problem?
You called it
face me. Come face me on that shit, bro.
You
He knew
called
he
it
knew that
Toomba,
was
Sean?
coming. He knew he was ready. He's waiting.
Oh
Trying to
God.
defend
I
that
say
for a
lots
long
of
time.
words wrong. I make up my own language.
I heard Sean say something wrong in a sponsored video once.
Hey.
shit was sponsored and he said wrong. Still got paid. You don't give a shit.
Hey. If they don't say
You say
nothing,
it with
I ain't
enough-
saying nothing.
You say it with enough confidence, people start looking it up themselves to make sure they're not wrong. Okay, so Tomba Special Edition, of course, August 1st. It's coming out. And then Tomba 2, PS4, 5, Switch, and Steam. Big moment for the crowd. Dozens of Tomba fans out there.
Wow.
I feel like
Yikes.
there's not a ton of them out there, but the ones that are out there are like really excited for this. Like,
I will.
really
I will
excited.
say, yeah, the second game is like heavily overshadowed by the first because 2 is like pretty different. So, but I was hoping they would at least get the 2 as well, so that way it's just available on modern platforms.
I wonder how many people will just. I feel like a lot of people discover this for the first time when it comes to these platforms because I don't. It's not really a character I remember a lot of people talking about, but now it's shown up here. Obviously, with Carbon Engine and MVG leading the way for development on it, and it. I mean, people seem excited for it, so it's good. I will check it out when it releases August 1st, and then the second one. But need that physical copy. That seemed to be one of the big announcements the show that people were real excited for. So I'm not really sure why they. Okay, I need help on this one because maybe I'm missing it too. Maybe there are dozens of fans. They closed out with the Bubsy the Perfect Collection.
That just shows
It's like
you.
it was
that
like
M-
a
Go
meme
ahead.
closer, I would argue.
That just shows you that MVG is a money hungry piece of shit. Because if a company comes up to you and they're like, "We want to use your Carbon Engine to bring back Bubsy games," and you say yes, how do you sleep at night? Like, how do you say, you know, that's a damn good idea. I want to put my name and my stamp on that. Like, I've done some low shit for money before. Never that. Never anything near that.
Wait,
Like,
what if
Jesus Christ.
Wait a minute. Never mind.
You don't want to know. There's no way.
Just
There's no way that we don't
absolutely
get demonetized if our YouTube tells us the rest
I
of this.
know.
disgusting to see. And people seem to genuinely like, did you play these games before? Are you familiar with these? They're not good.
Sean, that's the point. Do you think people are that like unself-aware of themselves? It's like
Yes.
a meme closer.
No, people
Bubsy sucks ass, and that's why we like him.
but that makes no sense.
That's why it's like a bad movie. People like bad movies, right?
Bad
Is that not a totally normal, socially
Like,
acceptable thing?
all right? So a bad movie, you don't have to interact with it. You can watch a bad movie and that's it. But you're controlling a bad game.
That's
The
the
game
beauty of
is
it.
fighting against you.
That's the beauty of it. You play it and you go, "Damn, I hate this."
Like, I could think of a million mascot characters that had multiple games that I would rather see instead of Bubsy. I would rather see James Pond. Who was that fucking who was that ninja that had 2 games and one of them was on the Jaguar? Fuck, what was his name?
What about Arrow the
was that?
Acrobat? You want to see Arrow the Acrobat come back, or is he already back?
Like, all because something is old, you don't have to bring it back. Like, you don't need to. Some things. Zool. That was it. Zool. Yes.
Okay,
Zool and
okay.
Zool 2.
I feel like Limited Run they have like no limits to this stuff. They'll just bring back.
They did
whatever.
Plumbers Don't Wear Ties and convince people
That
that,
was
it
cool,
was something
too.
they want. That's not a game.
That was cool too.
That was terrible. At least like Night Trap, okay? There's some sort of cultural significance to it. Like,
Yeah.
the ESRB, the whole court system stuff. It wasn't
Hold
a great
on. So
game.
something has to be a Mona Lisa for it to come back. Are you like? Is this really what the argument we're making?
If it's crap, yes. It has to be a crappy Mona Lisa, or else it's just like you could be doing something else.
I'm happy. I like seeing these games come back.
Oh, Bubsy is coming back.
Bring them
What
all
could
back.
possibly go wrong?
And you know what else is coming back? And it's actually happening. It's coming up this week because Ubisoft decided to announce it early. So it's that next Thursday? It's next week. You're right. But Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition. There's also gonna be a physical copy that's the collectors. That's in July. They're gonna go at the Limited Run Games. But the thing that was very weird about this one, it will have, by the way, it will have cross save between systems. Apparently, I think you have to have a Ubisoft account. I feel like that's how it works.
Yeah, it's for all their games. They always do this. If you have a Ubisoft account, you can upload it to the cloud, and then on any platform that you can play it on. I do it with Prince of Persia on PS5 and Switch, and it works decently. for it. So yeah, shout outs to Ubisoft. That's like the one thing that they really nail like really well over other companies.
So they will have that, but the other part is they are going to have, and this got put out there in like a press release, and then some of the outlets reported on it. It's going to have a mission that sets up Beyond Good and Evil 2. So they have referenced it again, and the fact that they have a mission in this setting it up, I mean, it does seem that that game is still moving along, I guess, behind the scenes. It's been a while since we've seen it, but I will admit that does make me interested enough to pick this game up, play through it, and see what the mission is exactly. I also have not played this game since I played it on GameTap way back in the day on PC.
It's a good game. It's like I rented it on the GameCube back in the day. Then I remember buying a copy on the PS2, but that one got stolen. But yeah, I like it. I thought it was good when I played it. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, it's my favorite game ever, but I thought it was a cool game. The graphics were good for the time. Characters were interesting. Jade, she's a cool character and all that. So yeah, I'm down to. I'm gonna buy it again.
Okay, I will be revisiting it.
I'm just not entirely convinced 2 is making any meaningful progress at all.
Are you sure they didn't ask you to do the music on the game or something? I thought you were a developer of the game. You didn't.
Oh yeah, that's right. That whole thing with the music where they were asking people to make it for them, basically. Like, you submit music to us, and we'll add it in. And that just did
Did you
not
see they're
work
doing
out.
some shady shit with Assassin's Creed Shadows, where they're having like a voice acting contest, and if you get picked, they'll use your voice in the game for NPCs and stuff, and people are like, wait, isn't that taking away from like voice actors whose jobs that is? Yeah, it was a whole big thing.
Oh,
It's not a couple days ago.
You can do it a lot cheaper that way.
Yeah.
Try to save some money. That game probably costs like a crazy amount to make. I don't know what you.
Oh yeah.
How much do you guys think that game would cost to make? It's probably a lot.
Oh, Assassin's Creed, they had like 12 studios work on that thing.
Yeah.
So it was hundreds of millions, I'd say. Like hundreds of millions. It might have been closer to like, I don't think $500 million, but I mean, it was probably getting up there.
Yeah.
This is in development for a long time.
Try to skim some money. Skim the money off the top of the voice acting there.
Let me see. Well, that was the limited run showcase, which, as I mentioned, I think a lot of this stuff they probably don't need to bring back, but they do it anyway to make Ryan happy. So it works out.
Hey, it's not harming anyone if they bring something back that you don't want.
It raises Sean's blood pressure.
Yeah.
Nobody wants.
He only has so many of those trips. Wilkins says Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes before remake alphabetically, but Ryan will put them on the shelf in chronological order.
I put them in the right order.
Jason says, no, sir, I didn't see you playing with the dolls again. Spaceballs reference. Good job, Jason. Still Alive says, I know they were just focusing on the arcade games for the MVC collection, but there was also X-Men Mutant Apocalypse and Marvel War of the Gems on Super Nintendo. Would have been neat to see those too.
I'm pretty sure War of the Gems is on an arcade 1-up. And maybe Mutant. I think Mutant Apocalypse, is that on the X-Men cabinet? I don't know. I haven't turned those on in a while.
Street Shadow says Arcade 1-Up is considered a toy. Game licensing is different. Oh, Maximilian Dude talks about it in a video.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure the licensing stuff is crazy behind the scenes with Marvel and Capcom and X-Men and gosh. Coke Slurpee says MVC 2's licensing category was different for Arcade 1-Up. It was considered a toy, so it was able to be ported. The console versions need new licensing.
Okay. I was wrong.
Omar says, my 6-year-old daughter loves Princess Peach and Princess Zelda. It's awesome she gets to play as both of them this year.
Huge win for the girls.
You have Chris VW, super sticker. And T-Joe says, I don't get why Capcom doesn't bother bringing the MVC home versions forward. Some of them have stuff not in the arcade, like Mega Man learning one of his moves by being the final boss on PS1 version.
Do you really want the PS1 version? Saturn. I mean, the Saturn version. That'd be good.
Saturn version was good.
All the 2D fighters were better on Saturn than PS1 because of the memory expansion.
Jacob with the gifted Spawn Wave membership. Shout out, Jacob.
Hey, Jacob.
Macamega says surprise RGT is going to too many games since he doesn't hang out with friends unless he can pick up girls. Shake my head. G&T after show banter.
Hey.
That was
Nate
a
said-
crazy conversation. It made me lose
Nate-
all faith in men.
We
I was
talked
like,
about
you
that
wouldn't-
on air.
I was literally, I was like, you wouldn't
Where
go
was it?
to a bar with your friends, and you were like, no.
I
not if
wasn't
I'm
I was not the only one who said that.
I know,
okay?
yeah,
There were
exactly.
Two
So I'm just
people
two
who said
men,
the same thing.
and I was really sad about it. I didn't realize that that's how people operated.
Well, I
That's
might
how
have.
Sean
we are.
operates.
Yeah, it's how
Here
Sean
we
operates.
are.
Well, hopefully Sunday, my friend Michelle will be visiting me at 2 Minute Games. Shout out to Michelle. I know you're watching right now, so I'm gonna put you on the spot since you're messaging me as well. Enjoy doing your laundry or folding your laundry.
Thank
So
you, thank you.
strange of you.
I don't want to say nothing because I don't want to be get caught up in some type of thing that happens later. So I'm just be quiet. So I'll just shut up. I don't know what's gonna happen with stuff like that.
That Jackson Galaxy, the famous cat YouTuber, loves Stray. For me, the appeal is that I feel it accurately depicts how cats maneuver around very well.
That's true. Yep.
I'm not a cat person. I thought Stray was pretty good. So there you go. I think it's still a fun game.
Oh, she's typing.
Uh-oh.
I had
I'm not
nothing.
gonna stop announcing
Michelle, I
it.
had nothing to do with this guy. I barely know him. I just met him. Well, I ain't gonna lie, but still, I got nothing to do with this.
I just met him years ago.
Yeah, like a decade ago.
Jason says, looking like Wind Waker and Twilight will be used to prop up the Switch One releases during the transition period after Switch 2 release. Double pack doubtful. Yeah, I might have to pack it in on the Wind Waker Twilight Princess stuff. So I feel like people have had they've had a long time with that for it to be announced and it hasn't. So I think you brought that up, Sean. How long do we give the reports before you go?
Oh
No credit here.
Yeah, no, nobody gets credit for that shit.
Christian says Retro Studio showing the true power of a 7-year-old console since 2024, like Super Saiyan God Goku going further beyond. Still Alive says regarding a new Donkey Kong game, I think I'd rather Retro handle that. I'm not sure I'd feel very confident any other studio at Nintendo take it on, and they are super busy with MP4, so I'll wait patiently. This is from Half Cut Skeleton. Says my cats Cracker and Jax don't appreciate RTG's antics.
Well, I don't know who that is, so you'll have to take it up with them.
Crackers and Jacks. I love those names.
Cracker and
Sounds
Jax.
racist.
No, it doesn't.
Maybe independently of one another, they might sound like that.
Can you imagine like the 1900s, like some like dude standing on the corner? Oh, look at these jacks coming up the street. You know, kind of like
Everyone let him
I
go.
should say the
I
other
gotta
one.
see if this is the cancellation.
That's for Cracker Jacks. Come on, I've said.
You ever been to
worse.
like Cracker Barrel? Like, there's like a restaurant called that.
Yeah, they got
Cracker
really
Jacks.
good-
There's like a food called Cracker Jacks. Like, there's like a
I
snack.
those.
Yeah, they're nasty, but still, I mean, like, what?
Whoa. Hold on now.
Cracker Jacks are disgusting. What? You like those?
What?
Oh.
They always like hand them out near like our local fireworks. They give you like a free little baggie of them. I always liked them because you get like a free little like sticker or some shit in them.
Oh yeah, they put something in there. It's like a little prize.
It, it pleased my young childish brain.
About the only good thing about that.
Dude, you should be happy with like anything when you're a kid, right? Like I was so pumped. I was like, oh my god, can't wait to get Cracker Jacks. And
We
get
did
the
fall
little-
for like the stupid little prize in the cereal box every time.
Oh yeah, that was hype stuff.
I was like, I remember going to an Easter egg hunt when I was a little kid, and there was an Easter bunny giving out Twinkies, and then he gave me a Twinkie, and I guess he couldn't see really well out of his hat or his head because like 2 minutes later he gave me another Twinkie, and you were only supposed to get one. And I was like, yeah. My mom was like, did you get 2 Twinkies? I was like, nah.
Sean's the type of dude that when he went trick or treating, if the bowl was just there, says take one, he'll be like, screw that, take the whole bowl, like take
So I was
the
in a
whole bowl, take it off.
my mom made me join like one of those clubs in high school where like it's basically like you're just doing community service, except it's not court mandated. It's just to be like a good person or some shit. And we had to do a Halloween thing, and I had completely forgotten about it. Like I didn't have a costume or anything. So what they ended up doing was like these two girls that I rode with to the event just like put like makeup on my face to make me look like a clown, like lipstick over my eyes and weird shit like that. But they paired you up with a kid who was like at like a special, like not special needs, but like low income daycare thing. And they took us to this neighborhood to go trick or treating. So I had this little dude with me, and we're just like walking around, and he was just like taking one piece of candy. I was like, "What you doing, homie?" He was like, "What?" I was like, "Nah, dude, just take more, take more." And so like by the end, he was just grabbing like 4 or 5 handfuls of candy. I was like, "Yeah,
That guy's probably a convict because of you now. He's probably a villain
probably."
at this point.
Hey, he had a good day that day though.
A lot of candy. Aiden says, seeing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 come back feels unreal. Jake says, I can't wait to see a tier list of the Nintendo Directs during the Switch's life after it's over. Oh, that's a good idea. There you go, Josie. Tier list of Nintendo Directs.
Will do.
That's going to be tough. There's so many over the years and grading them all.
Fonzie says, yo, Boomer versus Zoomer in MVC collection. I'll take you for a ride. Love the content.
Mayhaps. If MVG is good at those, we need to play a game that MVG is really good at.
Christopher,
Yeah, motherfucking chat says I'm bad at games. He's getting bodied by Josie and everything they fucking play.
Watch the next Battle of the Sexes. RGT does not know what he's talking about right now.
What are you talking about? I was excelling. I was the best. Out
You
of
were
the
not
4 of us.
excelling. Absolutely not.
Only on certain mini games.
I don't know.
Christopher says, have any of you played X Defiant? No skill-based matchmaking, really fun. Yeah, I've been playing it. It's fun. It's fun. I don't take it very seriously. It's more just an arcade shooter, and we just kind of kick around for like an hour or so, and then we're good. So it's fun. Banana says, if you're having trouble with UI and ER, use your
Elden Ring.
chest. You can store unused weapons and armor. I have seen too many of you with 50 axes in there. Casualties Gaming says, do you think the follow-up to the Switch will have better online, or will they continue to run it like it runs on free AOL CDs from the 90s?
It'll be shit online.
I
mean,
hope it's better. Like those
I think they'll
download
integrate.
speeds, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think a lot of
Compared
that
to
stuff will
everything
be,
else I have in my house, it's like, wow.
yeah, I think a lot of that stuff will be like they'll have the store probably integrated more into the OS. For example, it's not an app you pick. Like that'll probably be a thing. So I feel like they would hopefully work on that. Mac Mega says, good to see Sony and Microsoft hard at work for Nintendo with Lego Horizon and Perfect Dark on the Switch. Hashtag RGT is right. Hashtag Console Wars 1.
I mean, fucking A. You don't see Mario popping up on Xbox
Anything other
or
than cell
PlayStation?
phones?
He's on cell phones. That's true.
Console. A cell phone is not a
Yeah.
console.
Yeah, we'll keep that goalpost away. It's fine.
That's not a goalpost. It's a console. Console. I'm not talking about PC either. I'm talking about consoles.
I do believe at some point Nintendo will put something on other platforms. Just not now, but they will.
In like 30 years.
I think it'll be sooner than that, but we'll see. Obviously, there's nothing to go off of right now, but we'll see what happens.
They've already done it
Kirk's
on NVIDIA. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
That's
on the
right.
shield.
Yeah. Coke Slurpee says, remember when Nintendo was supposed to be a software-only developer during the Wii U days, according to half the internet? Oh, how the turntables.
It's because people
Brock-
overreact to everything. It's going to be the same for
Well.
Xbox and Sony in a second. Like once stuff starts turning around.
Broccoli says, can I borrow $1? GameCube says, become a member. Shout out to GameCube 180. Andy Ackerman says, going Team John this week. Let's fire OJ again. Better late than never. And Spyro says, which color Power Ranger are y'all picking to play as?
Pink.
Okay.
Red.
I was
You
going
guys
to say
are-
red as
You guys are
Well-
racist. I'm picking the Black Ranger.
Of course you. I mean, that's just. And John's picking the Blue Ranger.
No, I just said red.
No, I said red. You're the Blue Ranger, pal.
Why can't I be the Green Ranger?
I don't
You're
think
the Blue Ranger, though. John, that's you. You're that guy.
good old Billy.
You remind me of him now. Yeah, you're like Billy. That's cool. I like Billy.
I'll be the Green Ranger.
He's not accessible. I think you have to beat the game in order to unlock him.
What about the White Ranger?
Once again, I don't even think he's in it. It's
Probably have to
Rita.
just kill the Green Ranger first.
It's Rita.
No. Well. Okay, I'm the Blue Ranger. Apparently, Sean's the Red Ranger. Josie's the Pink Ranger, and Oj's the Black Ranger.
Yeah.
Still got the Yellow Ranger though.
Oh yeah, someone's be the Yellow Ranger.
I'll be Goldar.
Goldar's a fucking man.
Is Ryan the Yellow Ranger then?
I guess.
I'm out of this. I'm out.
Man says, if we get a sequel to Rise of Son of Rome, Xbox will win the next 2 generations.
Rise Son of Rome is not a bad game. I didn't play that game till years after it came out. And yes, it was short, but I enjoyed that game. I thought it was pretty good.
1000 Year says Metroid Prime 4 is confirmed for 2025. At this point, it will be out before Silk Song. Well, I hope Silk Song comes out soon. It's constantly a cloud that just hangs over any event that comes up. Distant Dream says, I would listen to RGC talk Sega history. Not Pokemon, though. Most of the internet knows so little about Sega. Like Josie, maybe.
Just call me out.
There you go, Sean. 2 hours of Sega history.
I get drunk and do it too.
The thing is I just like wouldn't.
You see Hogan's got beer, real American beer.
So you can order like a 12-pack of that and see how far you can go while explaining.
Well,
the
no,
Sega
here's the problem. It's only out in 4 states right now, and it's only going to be rolled out into 17, but one of the states is Florida. So I got my mom and one of my friends in Florida looking
like
for
Hulk
it.
Hogan?
Okay.
Okay.
When is it out?
All the racist states first, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it is. Well, no, because Minnesota.
Only the Midwest.
No, Minnesota.
Deep South. And
Minnesota's very progressive.
Alabama.
That was one of the states.
Alabama.
What are the states, Sean?
I don't know.
So you're gonna be in California?
Maybe. I just know I know Florida and Minnesota are definitely 2 of them because they've already rolled out there.
Oh, it's out now. I was gonna say if it's over on like the East Coast side anywhere, like anywhere around the Pennsylvania, like Maryland, Delaware, Jersey. I mean, you're gonna be around that area next weekend. So
I don't think it's in the Northeast yet, or the. Let me see.
Okay, Nabio says EO 40th anniversary of Ninja Turtles. And Derek Clay says new idea for PlayStation Cast: DualShock Daddies.
Ryan is
Nope.
Yeah, Ryan's not a.
Midori says I had to take PRO down with me. And then Fish Fan says RGT after show so I can give money to you.
No, I won't be alive tonight. I'm exhausted.
Sean's about to like fall asleep like while on the show right now.
I wake up early nowadays.
Do you really?
Yeah.
It's like to work out?
No, I fix my sleep. All right, so here are the states. We've got Florida, Minnesota, Missouri, and Colorado. Colorado, come on, dude. That's progressive as hell.
I still racist beer. Sorry, not drinking.
And they're going to roll out to other states later.
Yeah, a total of 17.
So you're just trying to get some of this to put up on your shelf somewhere as like collectibles.
No, I told my mom to get me 2 cases. One of them will be a
Okay.
collectible, and one of them I'll drink.
Okay.
Collectible beer?
Yeah, he's gonna let it skunk out. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Still alive says, who can talk about Sega longer though? Sean or Dreamcast guy?
Me.
FGC says, what are your favorite wrestling games? Mine are WCW versus NWO Revenge and No Mercy.
I mean, those are
Those are like
probably.
the ones that
Yeah.
Sean would probably say. Saint says, did you guys talk about idiots calling Zelda woke?
Oh my
did
god, I
not,
hate Twitter.
because-
They're so stupid.
I got a good video on it though. It's pretty funny.
Hey,
Are
there
you gonna
go,
make a
Sean.
video?
Put a video on it.
I already
Sean
made
has
a
a video on
video. Yeah.
Oh.
There you go. There you go. Christian says, yes, Midori, take your fraudulent friend with you. The super chats are aware of each other and fighting now. Okay.
Yikes.
Well, we're going to go around here as we do some outros. I will double check Streamlabs though on the way out. Let me start with Sean. Where can everyone find you?
Find me on RGT85. Evidently, I'll be at too many games this upcoming weekend. I have a video idea for tomorrow, but I'm going to sleep on it. And then I'll probably film it when I wake up. So there'll be something tomorrow.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Let me go over to Ryan. Where can everyone find you, sir?
Over on YouTube at Mystic Ryan, covering the world of PlayStation every single week. Also looking forward to seeing everybody at Too Many Games. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, this will be a good time. It'll be a good time, and then we'll have some sort of PlayStation podcast episode up before we leave for Too Many Games. We can promise that.
I see we're just steamrolling right past that again, huh?
We can promise that. We'll have something. We'll have something up for you guys. Hey, people like that first episode.
Yeah,
I got a kick out of it.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was fun. Over on Streamlabs, I see him now. Liam says, I don't know if you guys have heard any inside information about these titles previously, but I'm convinced that Metroid Prime 2 and 3 Remastered, F-Zero GX HD, Twilight Princess Wind Waker HD aren't coming and didn't ever exist. Maybe we still get Prime 2, but not those others. Still a whole cross-gen period coming up, so we'll see. Adam said, depending on how the Switch 2 is spec-wise, what are some big third-party games that you would like to see get a port? Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor, Dead Space Remake, System Shock Remake are some of mine. As always, keep up the great work, guys. You picked a lot of them.
Red Dead 2.
What was it? Red Dead 2?
Yeah.
I'm just going to say Elden Ring. I mean, I'm playing it now, but I think that would be a good one to have there. Then Adam said, if you're going to invite anyone to any stream, I request Nixne, pronounced 9. Pronounced 9 on John's Mystic Ryan's PlayStation podcast, and Xbox Ready on Direct Xbox podcast. There you go. Rocket Knight says, why do you... What? Oh, there's I request Nixne, which is pronounced 9. That's a PlayStation. Apparently, I guess PlayStation channel because they're requesting on the PlayStation podcast.
Why is
Xbox
there an
Ready
X,
on.
though? How am I going to call him 9 if there's an X in his name?
I'm not sure. That's why I was starting to pronounce it, and then they said it's pronounced 9. They said it right after.
That's a little weird.
Huh. It's like back in the day when people would make those MySpace names or AIM names, and they had to put a bunch of X's in the name so they could get it because
this is a lowercase X.
Yeah, they're all over the place. Rocket Knight says, why do you think Rocket Knight Adventures never got as big as Sonic or Mario? It was just as innovative.
Because the first game was great. The second one was kind of crappy. Super Nintendo one's pretty good, though.
You go to Josie. Where can everyone find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Josie Woe. I just make Nintendo content, and I'm going to have a banger video out this week. I just put out a video talking about Tropical Freeze, the best DK game of all time. You should check that out. And I am filming a movie, and it's my first. I directed it. It's really cool. It's like a short film, but that'll be out on my channel in the next couple weeks. It's a banger. I'm really excited about it. Don't expect too much, actually, because it's like really just not great. But for me, it's really
a banger.
good.
No, it sucks.
Well, I don't want people to expect too much. It's like a 5-minute short film that like
you seem to show up. You got to build this thing up as the greatest thing in history.
No, because then you watch it and you're like, oh shit. You know?
But they watch better than Sean's short video.
Oh yeah. It's top tier.
What do you mean?
Better than Blink.
Blink's a
I had like a whole cast and crew
Classic.
and everything. It should be really fun.
I had a cast.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to talk about that around Jordan. He's like, hey, don't talk about that.
No, he was just the editor.
Half-Cut Skelna says RTG.
What?
I think that's your name now from them because that was not a misspell again. It says Cracker is a street name. Ladies on her birth certificate. You know how it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Aaron says, anyone know how to get from Philly to Too Many Games via public transport? I've been wanting to go for a while now, but never figured it out. Philly to Greater Expo Center, public transport. That's like 20 minutes from Philly. I don't know how.
A little further than that.
You could Uber.
Just take an Uber? I mean,
the Uber might be the move at this point. Yeah.
Uber got expensive though.
It's very expensive. I was just in San Fran. It was like $60 just from the airport to my hotel.
I had to drop my car off somewhere at the mechanic, and it's like 5 miles. It was like $20. I was like, what the fuck? Well, I had to get the Comfort. I didn't want like the small one. I wanted the extra leg room. You could tell them how cold you want.
That's your fault then, because I always go.
No, because the regular one was like still like $14, and it was gonna take like 5 minutes longer.
Save $6.
Yeah.
OJ, where can everyone find you?
10, so I'm good.
There you go. There you go. 10 in.
Yeah, you can find me right here on YouTube, Player Essence. I cover RPG and Nintendo stuff. I'll have a video tomorrow on Mario and Luigi Brotherhood. There's some interesting new developments with that game in terms of the developers who's potentially making it, which we talked about a little bit here, but then also other things with the game because it just looks awesome. So I'll be talking about that. I'll also be streaming tomorrow. I pretty much stream daily. So if you want to come talk about video games and why the Melee community hates me now, Smash Brothers Melee, they all hate me. So yeah, we can come talk about that tomorrow. So that'll be fun.
That dude's tweet got some views on it.
Oh yeah, man. Which, first of all, I'll just say this. Listen, that was the point. The point was to talk to somebody. I knew because they're a cult, dude. Anything that those guys say, they could say that they shot and killed somebody, and that murder is great, and they'll be like, yeah, they'll like anything that a top player says. You know,
It depends who it is. Depends who they killed. You know,
I'm telling you, the Melee cult is interesting, right? So that was the whole point, was just to bring attention to the situation I had, and it worked. Zane responded. He's a decent guy. He responded, and it brought attention to the situation. So that was all it was. I got super ratioed, and they're all yelling at me, and I'm like, that's fine. You guys are all talking about it. That was the whole point. So it worked.
Shinru says the Spawncast is an RPG with classes. What is everyone's starting class? Oh, John's party leader, by the way.
I'd be a thief. I mean,
yeah. Hey, any bowls of candy laying around? You got that under lock.
yeah, exactly.
RGT steals
Or
NWO
Tales of
cartridges, wrestling paraphernalia.
I'd be a monk. I'd do like backflips and stuff.
You'd be a tight end.
Okay.
Is there a tight end class?
That's
Tight end
I've been
class.
asking. If only.
Still alive says, I'm expecting Meryl Streep levels of acting in Josie's first movie. I'm grabbing the popcorn.
I've produced a lot. This is the first time I've directed, but don't expect anything from this. It's going to be bad, but it's good for me, and I'm happy with it. So,
Evan, where can everyone find you?
Oh, you can find me on YouTube at Kimmerix Project. We're going to be streaming mostly this week. I keep trying to work on videos, but it just doesn't work out. But I got to get some stuff finished very quickly before next weekend because I got a lot of things to finish painting for a tournament. So,
okay. Well, that's everything then. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight on the Spawncast. We'll be back not next weekend, the weekend after. But if you're at Too Many Games, come by and see us. We have they set up like a meet and greet signing thing on Saturday. But then on Friday, we'll do a panel, probably some Q&A, hang out with everyone.
Wear deodorant. Bring hand sanitizer.
And bring spray. I'm not going to be there, but bring spray.
It's gonna be hot this weekend. Dress accordingly. If your fucking cosplay that you want to wear makes it 1,000 degrees, keep that in mind and maybe keep it at home. Wear some shorts, a t-shirt.
all he's saying is don't shower and just show up in layers.
Please.
Okay.
God's sakes, please.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you a couple weeks. Again, at Too Many Games. We'll be there. We'll see you guys then.
I'm bringing 6 hand sanitizers. I ordered them off Amazon.